Welcome back, everyone, to Oubliettes and Oozes. I'm sorry, I mean Dungeons and Dragons. Welcome to Castle Mac Presents Princes of the Apocalypse. I am your DM, Sean at Castle Mac Sean. And we've got more of the Castle Mac crew here. Go figure. Let's go around the table and introduce who we are and who our characters are. Just quick.
I'm Andrew, and my character is Henrik, a cleric of Tempest, and that is who I am. A war cleric, I should say.
My turn. I'm Lydia at Castle Mac Lydia. I am playing Adara, who is a Fire Genasi blood hunter.
I am Broderick Reinwald, retired soldier. Nobility of Waterdeep. Bard, human. Hey, right off the bat, thank you to Sean, who just subscribed for 3 months, and to Jenny Dutton, who already tossed some gold on the table.
Oh,
thank you,
thank
guys.
you.
What a way to start this off.
Wait, what are you talking about? Throck?
Yeah.
We have so many Seans in our lives.
I know,
so
there
can
are
we
a
talk
lot of
about
Seans. Nah.
Michael Sean, Sean
But I'm
Michael,
the first.
Well, I
Jonathan,
have a new
Jonathan, Seantown, Seanston.
Sean Throck, Sean,
Shawnington.
Shields Sean.
Shield Michael and Michael Shield.
That was pretty deep down the inside joke hole.
Well, a couple things on that. One, if anybody is watching and hasn't joined our Discord, there is a link down here somewhere. Join the Discord. We're always chatting in there. Just want to keep talking D&D. There is a Divine Inspiration bar right down here, which, thank you, Jenny Dutton, they're already on their way to getting a Divine Inspiration, favor from the gods, which will carry over if unused. So, thank you.
Why would it be unused? We will. Well, easy encounters.
Right.
That's why. I see. Yeah. Sean's sandbagging.
I will say, depending on the choice of paths they take, that divine reroll may be critical. But let's get started. So, quick. Oh, by the way, also, if anybody's confused about what's going on or whose characters are what, we got a new feature in the chat. So, if you want to know just basically what's going on, you type !summary. Is that correct?
That's right.
And if you want to know a specific character and what they're about, you type ! and their name. Correct?
That's correct.
All right. And there are some examples. So, if people drop by later and you guys want to help them out, if they're wondering what's going on, that would be awesome.
That's right. You can be their lights in the darkness.
Yes. That's a bard for you.
Oh,
That's
there's
a dog.
Maisie.
That's amazing.
There's Castle Mac Maisie.
Castle Mac.
I got it. I
Squeezing here.
found it.
I got long legs for days.
Oh, hi, doggy.
So, to give a brief setup of where we're at and what happened last time, you decided to take the direct approach and storm Scarlet Moon Hall. Although you tried to have a slightly clever way in, you did find Imdar, your original kind of fan and another stalwart of Tempest, wrapped inside of a wicker giant, starved and about to be set on fire. You also met Adara, who found the heroes that she had heard a bit about after you'd infiltrated the cult for a couple weeks. The Scarlet Moon Hall fell. You did lose Nas, who, after pushing out Imdar, was consumed with a fire elemental, but managed to at least help distract the other elemental while you fought it, and ultimately seemed to consume it within himself, thus dying in the process. But you beat the druid. The entire tower was on fire, but luckily you had a hippogriff who rushed in, brought you out to safety, and you flew away. And Imdar explained that he had come seeking you because he had business in Waterdeep that you had to discuss. But you guys have now camped safely for a night, have been well rested, And that's where you are. It's going to just start in the morning at the camp. So it's, a night later from Scarlet Moon Hall. And that's exactly where we're picking up. To y'all.
Go ahead.
I think I'd go to Indar. You feeling better?
He's kind of hunched over the breakfast. You see him manage to pull up some strength, but I think you're insightful enough. You can tell he's clearly still physically pretty beaten, but he raises himself up the best he can. Intensely better stalwart. Like I'm 20 years younger.
That's good to hear.
We should all be so lucky.
40 in your case. Do you have any information on what's so urgent in Waterdeep?
I do. Well, after we had spoken, I wrote to the temple in Waterdeep. I spoke of how you inspired me and some of the deeds that you had completed. If I'm being honest, Stalwart, in our talks you mentioned that you'd never taken the oaths formally. And I don't know that I felt quite right that here was a priest of Tempest, acting in Tempest's name, doing what we're supposed to be doing, and that the eyes and the faith that I would sit higher than him. I'm a stalwart to many, but if I'm being honest, you're my stalwart. In any case, they responded. They would like to extend that you take the oath, and with that, they offer assistance and weapons in your fight against these cults.
What kind of weapons?
I couldn't say, but just like the ring that I gave you, I imagine it could be something potentially powerful.
You honor me with your words, and I appreciate you doing that. I do have what seems like an urgent task here, but I suppose if it would help us in the end, talk to the others and see if the detour is worthwhile.
Shouldn't be more than 2 days from here.
Did we overhear this?
It's up to you.
Yeah, I'm fine with sitting. I think we'd be sitting in camp, so yeah.
We could make it in 2 days with those horseshoes we found.
If that's the case, then to me it would be beneficial, but I look to all of you for guidance. I certainly would not want to keep anyone from a just and holy path.
Have you been to Waterdeep, Adara?
You came in there. That's where you landed from Calimport.
Yes. That's where I was most recently.
City of Splinters. Have you been recently, Stalwart?
You haven't been there in probably 15 years.
It's been a very long time.
Well, we do know we're up against the gun.
I guess we wouldn't say that because there's no such thing.
We do know we have a crossbow bolt hanging above our head. But 2 days is not a terrible loss. Before we found those horseshoes, we were traveling much slower than we can now. And that is a strength that we possess, and we should utilize it. Certainly faster than our cultist enemies. But we do need to come up with a plan. I do have one scroll of sending. I can speak with Nithbis or Baishar. But beyond that, I'm at a loss. We know the entrance to all of the keeps now. And I'm afraid we won't be finding much support in terms of an army at our back. Too war-weary.
I suppose it's a matter of which entrance is most accessible. If we can get any help from Nithbis or Baishar.
Would the two of you mind catching me up on what has happened?
Of course. Yes, forgive me.
I think he would think about how Nas is gone for a second there. Kind of just settled into the three-person dynamic, and then
And
suddenly...
I think to some degree, both of you are older and experienced, there's just aspects of young Adara that do, in some ways, just reminded you of Nos. There's
Right.
something there about conflicted youth that you're like, right, Nos?
Right.
Well, where shall I begin? We initially were hired by the Order of Rorik, if you're unfamiliar with that. We were mercenaries, nothing more. But we stumbled upon, well, as did you, something much larger. The four cults seemed to be vying for an apocalypse. All of them each trying to bring it about in their own vision. Fire, the water, we dealt at Riverguard Keep. Air, had a protectionist keep as an order of knights. Could have been noble. Didn't have the heraldry or the ancestry yet, but their hearts were in the right place, initially at least.
I think he would pause at that as well, thinking about Savra.
And then, of course, the Earth Cult. All of them built atop an ancient dwarven city, which apparently they've quartered the city, and each of them have taken over a piece of it.
And that's where the keeps are.
And you actually, at least for the information on the cults and the city, you already know.
Well, yeah.
That, for sure. Gotcha.
We'll pretend I did.
Oh, okay. I got you.
So I think that about sums it up, really. We feel that this is the most pressing need, yes.
Have you known each other long?
Long enough. You learn the mettle of a man when you draw blades with him. As we've done with you. That's why we're talking to you now and why we've entrusted you. I hope you won't let our faith go unreturned.
Of course not.
We shall see.
It's true. How long have you been at the Scarlet Moon Hall?
Just a few weeks. It didn't take me long to get in. Looking like I do.
What were you doing there, if I may ask?
Gathering information
For whom? Or for yourself?
for myself.
Imdar speaks up. On that note, I hope you'll forgive me, but, what exactly are you?
Imdar, don't act so uncultured. I know we found you in Red Lodge. She's obviously a... Well, you tell him.
My kind is what they would call a genasi. I am the product of a genie mating with a humanoid species. And my father happened to be a fire genie. I was abandoned by him.
A dyed-in-the-wool genie, like those that grant wishes or do tasks.
Very evil.
Well,
Don't suppose you grant wishes.
No.
It's worth a shot.
Would make this a lot easier.
still, that's a strong lineage, and forgive me, but there are plenty of fathers who are bastards out there, so...
Mine just happens to be made of fire.
He kind of sits back.
I think Broderick's pretty unfazed. I mean,
Yeah.
we watched a dragon battle happen above our heads.
For sure.
This is nothing.
Some girl on fire.
Yeah.
Old
In
news.
Girl on fire, schmirl on schmirl.
Yeah.
That's what I say all the time.
Right, well then, if you're in agreement, we can head to Waterdeep. I don't think we should stay there long. We've got pressing matters, and they're retaliating against us specifically.
The two of you.
Yes, they destroyed an entire town.
You must have made quite a rift.
Well, I hope so, yes. It does seem strange that we're the vanguard of these efforts, but we've made the issues aware. We've made Nithbis aware of the issues, and Paisha and others.
Yes, I have met Nithbis.
Have you?
She's a beautiful tiefling.
She's alright. Like a 6. Well then,
Who should we be speaking to in Waterdeep?
Well, you wouldn't have a hard time finding it. It's the Temple of the Swordsworn. It's the only temple to Tempest. Actually, official temple still standing. But the head of the order is High Priest Victus. They are expecting you or expecting word that you're not coming.
We'll be coming. Never was much for the ritual, but I understand it. I won't have you or those men dying for nothing, so.
None of those men died for nothing, nor anybody who's ever served Tempest.
That's true.
Well, being that I feel so well, I'm ready to get on the road whenever you are.
Just after a bit of breakfast, of course. So, to what end were you gathering information? I'm sorry to press, it's just you were an ally of convenience, and now it seems you are a traveling companion. I think it's only fair that we get to know each other a little bit.
Of course.
Why were you gathering information, and why there?
My mission specifically is against fire elementals for no other reason just than the hate in my heart.
There are worse things to hate.
Okay.
I mean, worse choices of things to hate. It's a good choice.
You're really good with words.
Thank you.
Generally, we leave the words to me and the spirit guardians to him.
I'm just role-playing.
Good job.
Hate is a powerful motivator, but
I've made a pact with something I don't quite understand. It's just a feeling that I have. And I feel it in my blood, and it gives me these abilities.
a pact, you say?
I think he would just shoot Henrik a bit of a glance, but not press it.
Is there more to your pact than killing fire elementals?
Nothing you should worry about.
I can be the judge of that.
I can sense that I've made you guys uncomfortable. I've got pretty good perception.
I'd prefer to be the judge of what I should worry about, but you keep your secrets.
You can keep your secrets so long as they don't impact us or our mission.
They shouldn't. My mission is against elementals, fire specifically, and it seems like our paths have crossed with that common goal.
At least partially, yes.
We're stronger together, yes.
How do you feel
Don't
about
doubt
the other
that.
elementals?
Like which ones?
Earth, air.
Earth, wind, and fire, what do you think of them?
I heard that
They've
there's
got some chance.
Captain Planet joke in there. I despise them all equally.
It's good news. We'll be having to destroy them all.
Let's start with fire, though.
We'll discuss it. We do have to discuss our first course of action. I don't feel strongly one way or the other, but
Certainly prefer not to encounter Renwick again without holding up our end of that deal, so
I think that's a fair assessment.
Earth is out.
We'll leave Earth for last. We may have angered a lich. Well, not angered specifically. He doesn't know that we broke our bargain. But he will be very angry when he learns of that.
I won't make you roll. You know exactly what a lich is.
Yeah. I think what he said is funny.
Yeah, I think he would say that and then kind of, like, look off in the distance, like, shit.
Perhaps air is our best bet. The spire seems destroyed and uninhabited.
And they retaliated against our allies, the Aarakocra. We owe them, or who's left of them.
With that, you almost hear a ringing from the rapier/cutlass.
Ooh.
Like just a
Pardon me.
I'm in a silly mood. I'm sorry. Long day. Yeah, he would pull it out and just look at it, where he had scraped off some of the rust.
You still see it's shining magnificently, and as much as you've maybe tried even last night, you still can't. You can't get but maybe like the top of a fingernail's difference. So you don't have tools or anything like that to do so.
Right.
But don't know. You caught your own reflection in it, and something you said seemed to give it a ting.
The Earth, Wind, and Fire stuff.
Yeah. It was asking.
It re-rusts
Yeah.
over itself.
It was gonna ask if I remembered a specific date, kind of in the fall. No, I think he would look at it and kind of smile a little bit, feeling like he's giving it a second chance in life, but he'd put it back.
Well, I suppose now's as good a time as any to get moving, then. Glad to have you, Adara.
Glad to be here.
That's convincing. That's convincing. I guess we get moving. Is Imdar? I guess we know Imdar.
What do you plan to do, Imdar? Coming with us?
Well, if you wish, I can accompany you, or you can drop me back in Red Lodge.
Choice is yours.
I'm sorry. I am in a silly mood. I'm gonna stop right now.
It wouldn't be any more inconvenience. You could ride with me for a while.
And perhaps I'll be there for the ceremony.
That would be good. I'd like you to.
I think you stalwart. He stands and looks. He has nothing to gather, so he starts cleaning up the camp for you.
I think Henrik would help a little because he doesn't feel right having people doing stuff for him.
I think Brojo could do the thing where he's like,
Oh, you should. Yep.
Everything
Like,
you reach for, he's
yeah.
about to reach for
just
too.
too slowly.
Oh, no, it's alright. You go ahead.
Dara would help.
Well,
For no reason other than she's
She's a nice
Imdar.
person.
Imdar smiles at you, while you're doing it, and it's a rarity for you. It's a genuine smile and a sincere smile.
Yeah. I feel like I'm jaded against like elementals and fae and things from that, but like regular other humanoids, like sure I feel out of place, but I don't dislike them,
Yeah.
you know?
You don't expect that they're gonna like you, but you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I have no expectations, but if they don't like me, I don't take it as personally
Yeah,
as
you're
a
like, sure, I get it.
cool. Yeah, my eyes are orange. I get it. It's weird. It's weird.
Okay, you guys set off. We're gonna just fast forward to Waterdeep. I mean, it does. It only takes you 2 days. It's a site that's, familiar to you, Adar. You just left it. You're kind of like, oh, that's the gate I left out of. And that's where I came in on a ship. It's been a long time since you've been there, and it seems bigger than you remember. Just like, it's a lot of people, it's a lot of buildings.
We've been out in the wilderness for a while.
Mm-hmm. You get that same feeling that you've had for decades. You've been in plenty of conflicts. And there you go, you see the sun glinting off some of like the metal tops of buildings in Waterdeep. You see kind of white stone. You see the keep. You see the flags just raised high in all their glory blowing in the wind.
I think he would regard it for a second, and his feeling would start with pride. Then he would think back to his life there and kind of turn to a little bit of melancholy. I don't think he'd say anything about it. Maybe on his breath, like,
I left this place.
I think that there's probably like a small network of other blood hunters that I know in Waterdeep just because it's such a big city. And not that we typically have, not that we would have the same goal, but like there's definitely a network.
You know, in fact, a little-known, hard-to-find tavern, specifically for people of your talents, including other Genasi. Just, it's a bit like Constantine, where you don't know if, where everybody, it's like a neutral ground where some might be hunter and prey typically, but it's just a spot that you go. It's called the Astral Oasis, and it is hidden. It is hard to get to, but it's a lot of types like that, like arcane magic users,
People that like make potions and
alchemists,
Yes.
people who are doing strange deals that most people like kind of topside would not understand the significance. Like somebody's holding up a thing of eyeballs sometimes. I was like, someone else. You can always see deals.
yeah. What did you? It was the astral.
The Astral Oasis.
You guys are anything.
You know that they would probably not be allowed in fact.
Thanks for letting us.
We didn't want to come in anyway.
I'm welcome in plenty of places.
I'm not gonna go there yet. I'm gonna wait until they get busy doing something.
I got you. This is the first time you've been able to do it, but you know that there is a stable specifically for griffins,
Oh yeah, for
hippogriffs,
flying beasts.
and flying beast, and this is the first time you're able to use it. And it's close to other stables that they have, so you guys will be relatively close.
Yeah, he would take her there.
You fly in, land. Unlike Red Larch or other places, this is a
Nobody
completely
cares.
normal
Yeah.
site. And they're like, hello, my lord. How long will you be needing board?
No more than 2 nights, perhaps sooner.
Very well. Name, any preferences on food?
The best. Shimmermane.
Scruff her little feathers.
Shimmermane. And with a trained hand, kind of puts it out and seems to know the ritual of dinner. He's like, oh, should be well taken care of, my lord. Takes her off. You have about the same experience, just at a regular stable. There's like, hello, my lord, how long? It kind of goes to the like, there's some mighty horseshoes on there.
Yes, I think I would. I'll carry those with me. Thank you.
Is that a thing? Is that not a thing?
That would be incredibly difficult
I mean,
to
horse,
take off.
horses don't just like slip in like their night shoes.
I don't know how horseshoes
They're basically nailed,
nailed in.
So,
All right.
I mean,
Use the other end of the hammer to take them out.
typically a farrier itself does it, so there's almost an entire job. But
Never mind.
in fact, it would be like, my lord, that might be quite difficult. We could get the farrier if
He
you
wouldn't
prefer,
know.
but the security of it, I assure you,
Give me your
is-
shoes then, boy. Just kidding. Okay, backtrack.
Everybody
Henry
taking
didn't say
people's
anything.
pants and shoes in this fucking Castle Mac.
Y'all buck wild.
Rewind. Henrik knows about horses. Andrew doesn't.
You think that horses
Take my
have like
shoes.
flaps?
Yeah.
So you guys make board.
Flip flops when they're hot.
Imdar explains to you where the Temple of the Swordsworn is, and you know where your bar is, but after you're explaining, especially you get the vastly different directions than potentially where you'd want to go if you were looking to go to a place that had to deal with your family at all. Even the few places, it is different from where the temple is. But you guys can discuss that.
In the interest of time, no, man, he wouldn't. He would follow him. We're here for that. He still plans to visit the fam and whatever family holdings there are, but he would be with his boy for this.
Okay.
Could potentially be important.
You guys, so you will both start heading off that way?
Yeah.
They start heading off a particular way.
May I ask where you're going?
To the temple for the ceremony.
Mhm.
What ceremony?
Well, he'll be sworn in and take the official oaths of Tempest.
That does sound wonderful for you. However, I'm not not much one for temples, you see.
Neither am I, funny enough.
I have some business with some colleagues of mine that I would like to attend to while you attend to the temple.
All
Shall
right.
we meet back up?
We'll meet back at this gate in 2 days.
I was going to say 4 hours. How about tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Imdar does. I do understand your aversion, but should you change your mind on the temple is welcome to those who are just.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the offer.
Of course. Should we on?
After you, Tempest. Still watching. Jeez,
I always do that.
That's my dad.
What's your mom's name?
Ada. Well, wrote it down. Pat,
Okay.
actually.
You guys head towards the temple. You start heading towards the Astral Oasis, or do you go somewhere else?
No, not that I don't trust them or anything, but I don't know if they know people in Waterdeep that would have like been interested that they had arrived. So I think I would kind of take a back way around just to make sure I'm not being followed, because I'm probably a little paranoid.
Okay. Why don't you roll stealth?
Okay. I don't know any reason that
You're dead.
you cheated. That's a big 2.
Do you have any modifier? What's the total on there?
It's a 4.
Well,
A +4, right? So 6 total.
Now would be a good
what's your
time
next
to-
character gonna be?
Air Genasi.
Adaro.
A dire.
We're gonna go over inspiration real quick, guys.
Is
These
that your foot?
are player-given
My
inspiration.
horseshoe.
So the players can give these in reward for good role playing, cool decisions or actions, or if you think a bud needs it, and you exchange them for Castle Mac inspiration, which we use as a reroll. So it's pretty strong, but this lets everybody kind of help each other out.
We're so player-centric. I'm going to go ahead and give one to Adara, because she's having to quickly come up to speed with a whole new group.
I am. Thank you
Yep.
for noticing.
I don't know how dangerous my self roll is gonna be,
I don't know.
But I kind of just want to find out.
Well, you already rolled it, so
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter.
No, I don't want to re-roll. That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna spend my inspo.
I mean, you couldn't though, because you got it afterwards.
Right, I'm just saying I wouldn't need to
I'm just
spend it.
saying.
I'm just
No,
saying.
but you couldn't
had
do
I
it.
had it,
You don't have the
Sean,
option.
kill me, Sean.
No, I'm not gonna spend it. Don't worry. I give you permission.
Yeah, I give you permission to tell me. not to
I'm
spend
letting
it.
you do this to me.
Okay. You start cutting down back alleys. You feel like you're doing pretty well. It's a foreign city. You're like, you know where to get to where you're going. As you are getting closer, you do feel some familiar ping inside of you. Familiar. Can't quite make it out yet, though.
Like a bad feeling or a good feeling?
Don't know
Just
at
a
this
feeling.
point. I mean, it's almost some of the same senses that could be welcoming somebody, or it could be like, am I in danger? You don't know. Maybe it's just the city.
Maybe it's spidey sense.
Maybe it's the implication of danger.
You two, along with Imdar, head towards the temple. Broderick, you know about the temple. In fact, I mean, since you also are a follower of Tempest, you've been there.
Yeah, probably meant left a sizable donation.
You reach a pretty magnificent sight. It's as you pass through. Imdar points out. He's like, "Well, that's the new Church of Analor. I mean, it's built up. It's large. It's so new, and there are people just flooding through it. Still, though, by the time you get to the Temple of the Swordsworn, for whatever reason, it's a bit more comfortable. It's still magnificently carved, like alabaster, and it's white stone, There are 2 warriors outside the front, almost menacingly, with weapons pointed down. And there's large columns, and there's 2 like braziers of just continual flame. Large doors. Stained glass, though, too, that show. As you're walking, you can see a red knight in the midst of battle. You see the familiar likeness of Tempest also in battle. I mean, he has his axe, and he's swinging through swaths of enemies. Doors are open. You can head in at your leisure.
I think Henrik would stop and look at the statue. And, you might say to Imdara,
Sorry if I didn't seem quite as receptive to the idea as you might have hoped. To be honest, these rituals make me a bit nervous, but glad you're here. I'm glad you brought me.
He pats your shoulder. He's somewhere between your age and Broderick's age. Some kind of
between 40 and
nebulous.
200.
Yes. I know. Perhaps part of that's why I pushed for it. Many, less so I think in the Church of Tempest, seek their oaths for their own glory and not for the glory of the faith. But you've just traveled on doing those works, so I think it's probably long overdue that you visit these halls.
I think you're right. Let's not make it wait any longer.
Put a hand on his shoulder and like motion, start walking in, I think.
And he leads the way. He kind of picks up on it.
Broderick would hang back just a second, kind of watching the ceremony going on. Maybe even a little bit patronly, like probably feeling pretty proud of Henrik. He'd just kind of watch, kind of walk behind him a ways.
You might have said, but what exactly is the nature of, or the hierarchy of this ceremony, or requirements as far as, I don't know.
You don't
That
fully
question
know,
makes sense,
but Henrik knows that, Tempest appeared to you, and you've gone out and you've kind of picked up knowledge of Tempest, and you're like, oh, I serve Tempest. And you've made a name for yourself enough with just your battle prowess, but you've never taken a formal oath whatsoever and have visited kind of the outskirt temples. So,
Okay, is it something anybody can do? If they're a follower of Tempest, or you have to be invited? Or,
it would be the same as you could swear an oath to Tempest to just be a follower or an initiate, but to take it's a large oath that would have taken years of sacrifice to get to the point where you're being sworn in, essentially
gotcha.
a priest. And at this point, it's more like a bishop.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, I just wanted to understand the magnitude of the.
It's big.
Cool.
And in fact, as you walk in and just seeing the size of even the church, you're like, oh,
Probably
okay,
make the goal.
okay. As you walk in, you see a number of people in. Some have incredibly shiny armor. They all bear the same symbol of Tempest on it. Others are kind of walking around, and you can see the marks of battles. You also see a lot of people serving here that are missing limbs. They're kind of washing, they're lighting candles. You can see them speaking to, no longer in armor, but speaking to what seems to be patrons. And as you walk forward, there's a number of steps. Continues to kind of rise up into the central, chamber that's in a half dome, like many cathedrals. And there is just a hanging shield, magnificently crafted, with a sword and a flame behind it, the symbol of Tempest. It's magnificent, but there's also not a lot of other decorations around. It's kind of a simple altar You see a number of seats behind that look almost like a council table. And that's it. And there's a few people up there now. Imdar leads the way. And you reach the end. And Imdar's like, Art Starwood, Victus. You see an old man turn around from what he was doing. And he looks pretty ancient. He's still wearing armor, but it's leather.
Yeah.
He turns. Imdar. This must be the Starwood we've heard so much about. And you see him limping over. And one of his arms just looks like it's kind of stuck in place. He's like, he comes all the way down, walks all the way down to you. He's a bit shorter than you are now. He's like, in the battlefield, sorry, may the fires wash away the unworthy, all but glory. I'm old.
Didn't you just say the second part? Am I confused?
I fucked up.
Okay.
Let's just rewind. May the fires purify all but glory. May the battlefield
wash away the unworthy.
He clasps. It's nice to meet you, Henrik.
And you, Victus.
I thank you for accepting our invitation. I'm sorry to pull you away from your battles.
It seemed a worthwhile detour. Thank you for the invitation.
I hope we can help you on your quest. Please, Imdar. I'm sorry. March Starward Victus.
Broderick Reinwald, pleasure.
It is a pleasure, my son.
He's a follower of Tempest himself, and a good man.
Very good. Can tell you have a well-worn hilt.
A lot of well-worn things.
You know what it's like. This guy.
He's like,
Youth is wasted on the young.
it most certainly is. He's like, well, please, come into my private chamber first. We'll speak. You do want to take the oaths in the ceremony.
I do.
Very good. I see him walk over and speak to some attendants. He's like, might have to be tomorrow to do the full oath, but I'll start having them prepare.
It'll work.
You see him talking to somebody else, and a couple people are like, and people start moving. And he's like, come on.
I would put my hand on Henrik's shoulder and kind of just stare at him, but I wouldn't follow here.
No?
He'll go sit, I think.
Okay. There's plenty of spots that you can sit. You'll enter the vestibule. In the meantime, you've been darting through the back streets, taking your time. Get a little turned around a few times. Wait, no. It's this way. But you're a hunter. You remember how to retrace your steps. The closer you get to the Astral Oasis, the more the feeling grows. And you start to recognize it. It is the feeling of your master who trained you in the blood rites. That you took the oath with him even before you found a patron. You took the blood oaths.
The patron found me.
The patron found you. And you, so there's just an inherent connection. Like, you know, you've known that your former master is at least all right.
Mm-hmm.
But you've parted ways a few times. He has his own things that he's been doing. And in fact, as you get closer to the Astral Oasis, you think back to when you first met him. It's years ago, in Calimport. You're a child. You've been attempting to play with the other elves in the forest. They're having none of it. They're like, you asked to play and they're like, ugh. With hair like that, it always looks dirty. Another one's like, I think she smells kind of like ashes.
I think I probably wouldn't be able to help it, but like my hair would start like igniting.
Like,
I'm mad. I'm sad.
"Ugh," and they go to walk away. And in that moment, I mean, it is pure rage. They not only insulted you, they've turned away like you were nothing and start to walk away. What do you do?
I probably, like, my hair probably catches on fire. And I know I can't hurt them or do anything.
I mean, you can if you want.
I don't know.
Okay.
Like, I want to, like, that's the rage that I feel, but I probably just, like, swallow it and, like, let it fester. And I go and I just find somewhere to be alone. And just am alone.
Okay. You find a secluded spot in the kind of strange forest that are in Calimport. It's far more tropical there, so it's a bit different. The elves, you've seen some of the way the elves dressed here for a far more temperate climate. Silks are what happen in Calimport. It's a lot of light clothes, and you find a spot and sit down. You see the tropical birds flying around, and your hair is just on fire, and you're just seething. And then you see the birds scatter, as if afraid. And up comes an elf with white hair, who has horrific scars all over. Some seem like he got them in battle, others are precise. Just a number of cuts all over. And he's got one dead eye. And he's got his hand on a sword. And what are you crying about?
How old am I right now?
8. No. I'm sorry, you're older than that. You're 12.
Okay. I don't know how to make friends with these elves.
You want to make friends with those who don't want to be friends with you.
I just want to fit in somewhere.
Yeah, want to fit in somewhere. There's nowhere to fit in.
It's easy for you to say you are an elf.
I have left their pompous and petty path a long time ago. They accept me here only because they are afraid of me. I didn't allow them to do anything else.
What is your name?
My name. It's a dangerous thing to be giving out names. Names have a lot of power, though I know yours, Adara.
And how do you know my name? I'm 12, I'm kind of dumb.
Because I know your mother. Come, I can take you home to her now. And he starts walking off in the direction of where your home is.
Sure, I'll follow him.
You can say something to him if you want to on the way, or you can walk silently.
I imagine that like 12-year-old Genasis are not that much different than like a 12-year-old like human girl.
I mean, you're erratically hot-blooded.
Yeah.
So.
How do you know my mother? Why have I never seen you here before?
Because I don't stay here that often, that's why.
And where do you go?
He stops, and he looks at you, and both eyes turn, but it's almost like his dead eye is set on you. He's like, 1, wherever I like, and 2, to wherever I'm hunting. Wherever my prey goes, I go.
Is that how you got those scars?
He regards it, in a way. And he sets back off. He's like, I knew your mother when we were young. We were friends, and she did me a kindness. She was also friends with my wife.
Sounds like Mom.
I'm sure it does. Takes you all the way to your house, and your mother's there. He knocks on the door, though, and she opens it. Severin. She instinctively goes out for a hug. You're behind him. You can see him tense up. and then give a hug for a moment. She's like, Adar, come in here. And she sees that your hair is still flaming. And she holds your face. Immediately, it just smolders and then smokes. We're going to have supper soon. Why don't you head upstairs and clean yourself up?
Yes, Mother.
You do. It doesn't take you long. As you start to come back down the stairs, you can hear them talking. Low. What do you do?
Oh, I listen.
Okay. Severin's leaned close, and your mother's there looking grave. She's like, I don't think she'll ever fit in here. It's like, of course she won't. Who is her father? You can see her look away. An evil thing. Like, a genie? It's like, I didn't know it at the time. It's like, no, I'm sure you wouldn't. I don't think she'll have a place here. That's what I'm afraid of. She has power, though. It could be used. I'm not going to turn my daughter into a weapon. I'm not saying that, but perhaps she could defend herself in a cruel world. I don't think so, Severin. He's like, he stands up. He's like, I know that worry that you're feeling. If I could go back, I would have taught my daughter how to do it. She looks a bit sad and walks out the door.
He does?
He does. She looks sad, but he walks out the door.
I want to follow him.
You run down the stairs.
I just want to walk by, like, I heard what you said.
You just look at her.
Yeah.
She looks up, shuts her eyes, and puts her head to the ceiling as you follow. He's walking down the road.
Severin,
He stops.
I heard you talking to my mother, and you're right. I will never fit in here. I don't know my father.
Probably best you don't.
This place just makes me so mad.
This place makes you mad?
I can't get it out of myself.
Then don't. But be warned, this place is safe. Everywhere else isn't.
I want to go somewhere else.
Good. Then I'll come collect you tomorrow. With that, you round another corner. And you're about at the Astral Oasis. You're still sitting in the pews.
I think he would leave. If it seems like it's going to be a while, he would bounce. If it seems like it's only going to be a few minutes, he would wait.
It seems like it's going to be a while.
Judging by like how many people were going to do stuff, I think he'd kind of be like, all right, this is not really my scene anymore. But I think he would leave word with an attendant. Just, hey, you know.
It's no problem. Absolutely, my lord. And they head back to it. Where do you head?
Oh, I think he would head to the Rheinwald Mausoleum first. Harder man.
You make your way there. Walking, can't help but notice how Waterdeep has changed.
Mm-hmm.
Not just in the many years of different shops opening up and things, but in the past year. I mean,
Right.
Waterdeep comparatively is doing well. I mean, it's doing really well. But far more refugees on the street, far more people begging for money. There are just there is more desperation. And you can see some people like criers being like, and it's our government's fault that we're not. Where's the council here? I certainly don't see them starving in the streets. I'm thankful, I really am. But what are we supposed to do now? You pass plenty of that. And you make your way to the tombs and the mausoleums of Waterdeep. Some have some traditional plot cemeteries, but most are tombs and mausoleums.
Right.
You walk through the gate. You look at the many flowers that are spread here. You see a new memorial, a war memorial, also with an everlasting flame.
You regard that for a time. Kind of look at it and just nod. Thinking about the war.
You think about those you lost, including the last one who saved your life. You didn't even know their name.
Man, I think you would take out some gold and just lay it on it.
You set it across. For a moment, it almost seems like the flame kicks up for a minute, but it might have just been your imagination. And you head in to the dark, cool, shaded. It's an archway. It's a mausoleum within it. You start to get to familiar faces. There's your grandfather. There's your grandmother. There's aunts, uncles, and there's your parents. Your brother. And then you get to those that you were looking for. See one far older and dustier. That's Ryder Reinwald from years ago. And then you see one that's pretty much only a couple months old.
I think he'd kind of stare at it for a second, you know, even kind of blow the dust off. Then I think he'd do the old, like, rickety sit down. Popping his way down.
And they have plenty of just stone benches kind of within. 4 people to sit.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd sit and just kind of stare at it for a second.
And you see Genevieve Reinwald. It's less than a year old that it was here. That was the last time you were here. Before you had set out.
Yeah, I think he'd read it a little. Polish it, you know, where the letters are.
As you're doing it and reflecting, a memory comes back.
Good. Of course.
It's right before the Well of the Dragons. Marching starts tomorrow. They've put out a call to any able-bodied warriors. I mean, and it's desperate. They've recalled officers from retirement. It's not conscripts. I mean, especially for you. This is old commanders and friends and peers that you had. This is volunteer only, and you signed up, and you're packing your things in your bedroom. And
Be regarding the rapier
Genevieve
made
is
by his son.
sitting on the bed, and she's been regarding you while you're packing. Brody, my love, you know, all those years ago when I saw you at the party for the first time, so charming, so handsome, if I'm being honest, I wasn't prepared then for how many times you'd be leaving us.
Well, I wouldn't be at that party if I weren't committed to this life, and you knew that.
I did know that. And even had I had more protest or listened to the protest of my family, it was like, maybe that would have bothered me, but every time I looked at you, I still see that charming young man. Still handsome. Not as much, but still.
As much, I think. Your eyes must be going.
They certainly are. She pauses for a moment. She looks back at you. My love, I know how much it hurt you to miss so much of their growing up, all of our children. You have a grandson now, Ryder. He's coming up on 8.
I know.
I say this, not selfishly. I made my peace with you leaving a long time ago. But you miss so much to your own detriment.
I don't. Well, what I do so that they may grow up in my absence. If there weren't men like me willing to make that sacrifice, who knows? You know what's out there.
I do.
I couldn't let it be someone else.
But you've done your bit for Lord and Country. I think you've earned the right to enjoy their life this time.
Maybe you're right, but this is just a quick skirmish. Shouldn't be anything major, you know.
Armies are right outside.
She stands from the bed, which takes her a bit more time these days, and strides over to you the same way that she strode over to you at a party years and years ago.
He would put whatever down and grab her hands.
You see the wrinkles in her face, think about her through the years, but she's no less lovely. And she puts her hand on your face and rubs her thumb across your cheek. Curse me. I had to go and marry a good man, didn't I?
Sometimes. When the stars align.
She smiles. You can hear a sound in the doorway, and she looks, and she's like, Astyanax, please take care of my foolish husband. Astyanax has been your best friend for decades. You've always been an officer, and he's always just been under you. He's maybe 10 years younger than you, comes from lower birth than you, but you fought in just about every conflict together. He is your attendant and your best friend. Like, of course I will, my lady.
Somebody needs to.
Are you prepared?
I think so.
Check to make sure he's got everything.
She gives you a long smile.
I think he would make it quick.
Oh, well, all right then. It won't be long.
Very good. You pass down the house. She comes out in the same way, puts a shawl over her shoulders. It's getting a bit cold before the war. And she watches you march down the street, as you've seen her do for decades. And
He'd do the same glance back and like the...
You remember that was one of the last... Was not the last time you spoke to her by any means, but...
I think he'd think about that for a second, kind of lean back.
Never could give up this life even now.
You can see your own reflection in the middle of both.
I think he'd take out just a couple coins and put them at the base of each one.
All right then. It's good to see you both.
I think he'd stand up, creaky knees, and leave.
You head on. You walk past that same flame, and you think about how Astyanax, he died at the well, along with just about everybody you served with. Some made it, but none that you were close to.
He'd stare at it for a while, but he's not one to dwell.
Oh, isn't he? And you head off. Come back to you. You're in kind of the rectory and personal kind of chambers of the Archstalwart. He pulls out a chair for you himself and then kind of collapses into one. He almost takes a moment to steady himself. Looking at him now, how does this man continue to stand? He's, pardon me, getting a bit old these days, Star-Lord.
Get around better than could be expected. Perhaps Tempest doing most of the heavy lifting.
Well, you seem to be a good priest, but a poor liar. I'm pleased you came. He kind of regards you. I've seen that look in people's eyes before, and I understand it. Sometimes the ceremony of things seems meaningless. For other faiths, I don't mind saying I think it's just pageantry. But not for us. Not for those sworn to Tempest. We're warriors. I'll tell you honestly, this church is strong and weak at the same time. We gave all we had at the well. We committed every last member that we had, and we committed it while the council was still debating if they were going to go. We were already on the march. We know a lot in this life.
Warriors indeed.
With that, though, we're a quarter of what we were, if that. And if we're laying it out all on the table, strange things are afoot in the faith. I felt the power and presence of Tempest all these years of my life, and it's strayed and frayed for now. We've all felt a gap.
Myself included.
And yet, there's many young caravanners that come to Waterdeep beyond Imdar sending me a letter that ask me about Henrik, the stalwart Henrik, how long he has been with us, what deeds he is doing. And only one of us seems to be gathering the power of the faith and divinity. That's you, Stalwart.
It's a strange thing, but glad it's happening.
As am I. I'm a humble man. I care nothing for power, only to do what's right. If you are the one who's here, the one who will fight the battle for now, well, you should be rewarded. You should be recognized.
Could do without a bit of the recognition, but I suppose I can't argue.
Faith lifts those who lifts others. You've lifted people. They need someone to believe in. Sometimes faith is an abstract, especially now. People can't reach out and touch their faith. They can't feel it. It's easy to get distracted. But a hero, a champion of the faith, that's something they can see. Just down the road, there's a church to Annalore. I would have bet 10 gold. Many people couldn't have told you what Annalore was a year ago. It's a fairly obscure elven god. But there are followers of that now because they had a hero. A champion.
I understand. It's not a position I find myself comfortable with, but someone has to do it, I suppose.
And that's why you should. Right there. Well, with this ceremony, we'll be giving you a weapon of power. Trust after talking to you that there is no one more deserving.
It's an honor, thank you.
It's an honor to give to a holy warrior. Those of Tempest, we give freely what we must. We hoard nothing. Thus, we take what we need from our enemies in battle, the rites of combat. The weapons of the enemy become our weapons, just as Tempest harnessed the power of the other war deities and bent the elements to his will. You can see him start to pause like he looks tired. Perhaps that's enough talk for now. We will see you tomorrow.
I'll be here. Thank you.
I am glad. He pushes himself up to stand. He's like, good night, Stalwart.
Good night.
You see him, as the door closes, him slump back down in his chair and lean back.
I cast Revivify on him.
Adara, you've made it to the Astral Oasis. You've cut down these strange number of stairwells. You've gone through what don't seem to be just normal, almost magical, like maze-like archways, where it just feels like time and space have bent in some strange part of the streets beneath Waterdeep. And you come into the Astral Oasis. It's smoky. There's completely strange music playing that,
It's
frankly,
like that scene in Star Wars.
it's very much like that. It's like Mos Eisley Spaceport.
Yeah.
So it's just, and there's a ton of people making deals, and you've been here before. Around you, you see a tiefling pushing something across a table, and you see a half-orc scratching. You overhear a few conversations happening as well. You hear like just your typical road, like, "Oh, it's a heist. It's a big heist, is what I'm telling you. Biggest. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be very." They see you. They're like, lean in closer. You see a small halfling and a half-orc walking around with a violin.
How'd they get in?
I
They-
know your things.
They ain't no hunters.
It's not just hunters. It's a bit of a rogues gallery in here, but they do stand out as they seem the most localized rogues here. I mean, other things. I mean, there's a Gith in here, which you know is even stranger, who's just eyeing everybody up. And at the back table, as you knew before you even set foot in here, is Severin. This dead eye staring. He's been waiting.
I'll smile at him.
He pushes up. Half a smile. Doesn't even quite raise right due to the number of scars that he has.
I knew you would be here.
Our connection is blood now. There's no other way.
Yes.
I know when you're safe, and you know when I'm safe, which is never.
Except for here, which is why I knew you were here.
True. And what is the youngest blood hunter doing here on Waterdeep?
We are making a stop here. We just took down what is it called? A keep.
Elemental keep,
We
maybe.
just took down an elemental keep, a fire elemental keep.
What do you mean we? I've
I
never known you to work with anybody else.
have run into 2 traveling companions there. Nithbis sent me to find them.
Visited the witch myself. Elemental cults, Looking to strike at old Papa.
I can find them.
Good luck. I don't think he'll come back to the material plane anytime soon.
They all have the face of him.
That's true. You see them in your dreams, don't you? Your enemies, those who've wronged you.
The list.
Keep it. Recite it to yourself every night. Don't ever lose the path. That's what I taught you. Allies can be good. Strength in numbers against a serious threat. Put your trust in them, but not too far.
I will do what you taught me. They are strong fighters. They are seasoned.
Very good.
One of them has a hippogriff.
A noble creature. There are better flying things around that you could get. Nightmare. Pegasus.
Yeah.
And what of you?
Well, chased down the last lead, I thought. Thinking I'd find them this time. You know he's referring to his family or those that took them. So I'm cold. I don't think... I don't think they're out there.
But you'll keep searching. It's what we do.
You're right, I will. I suppose I've just finally reconciled after all these years. That I won't be getting what I want. I won't get them back. And I won't watch the eyes of those who took them go dead. If I could make it to where I wanted to go, I'd avenge myself 1,000 times on them.
I know you would.
Well, where are you staying?
Don't know yet.
You can stay with me for old time's sake.
I'll be buying a drink.
Very good. I'll order them. You see him walk up to the bar. You see the halfling hold up the violin, and him stare, and the halfling. Yep. He brings back 2 drinks. I won't be having my apprentice buy me a drink.
Thank you.
You drink together. Anything else you want to say to him, Ken?
I mean, he knows how thankful I am. I feel like there's a lot of things that we don't need to say.
He regales you with some of the things
I'll
that
fill
he's
him
fought.
in on like what's going on with the apocalypse and the elemental temples and stuff. Just basically relay what they have told me to him. Which would he know what's going on?
It depends on the cults.
Mm-hmm.
He does not. This is news to him. Well, that's news to me, but I'm not surprised. Elemental cults have popped up a number of times. I've read in a number of tomes. There's something ancient that's always trying to break through.
Yes. In your tomes, what were the solutions? What would bring them down?
Every time I've read about it, it seems that heroes did it. But they don't just need heroes. They need hunters, girl. Hunters. Hunt the cults down. Every moment they're out there, that's evil spreading, that's innocent lives at risk.
I'm gonna be getting amped. My hair is gonna be on fire.
Good. Keep that same anger. Don't just focus on the one that you want revenge on. Focus on the one that needs to go down. You don't get to the lead wolf just by hunting the lead wolf. You look at the pack. Let's go. Head out of the bar. Head through the strange archways that feels like you're walking upside down or going up a wall. You come out through the staircases and start heading down the streets.
Where are we staying?
Little known place. It's out of sight. You see him turn. Both ways. Brace yourself, girl. Out of the shadows. Figures dressed in all black with white masks on. 4 of them step out with curved daggers. We're gonna take a break on that.
Woo!
Should be fun.
All right, be right back. 10 minutes. You got the countdown here. Come join the Discord.
welcome back, everybody. Where last we left, Adara and her master Severin were in an alley, and as carefully as she thought she had not been followed, it would seem that the 4 assassins now standing in the alleyway would say otherwise. We're gonna need to roll initiative.
Just me and them guys.
Well, you...
Fellowship divides often in this campaign.
I rolled a 1.
Nice. Off to a
Since
great start.
I don't see where the other ones are. We're just gonna use your buds here.
Mead
So,
cheers.
Mead
Uh,
cheers.
since Broderick is closer to the age of your master, he will be your ally. Henrik, on the other hand, will serve as...
Here, I'm sorry.
Oh, there they
They're
are.
right here. I was hoarding them.
4 to the name tag queen.
Yeah.
I'm
I
gonna...
can say that.
That's what it is. You probably
These
should
will
turn
be
this camera around.
no different, but I'm just gonna break them up into 2 initiatives so that 2 and 2 will go,
Get
and
your
not
shit together,
I was on
Andrew.
top of the.
and not
cameras.
4 will go at the same
Professionals.
time.
Okay.
Okay. Man, I really enjoyed having you here.
Thanks for letting me play on Tuesdays. These 2
Dude,
times.
fun.
These 2 times.
Okay, so you rolled a 1.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for noticing.
This is okay, and there is the other.
I'm crowding the whole world.
Yikes!
This should be fine. This is fine.
You're fine. Sean doesn't know how to actually make a challenging encounter, so.
I also heard you can't draw a circle.
Luckily,
Oh my
we're in an
God.
alley.
A circle.
I'll be a
alley.
nasty.
The town circle.
Man. You know what? With that, I'm gonna let the chat vote on if you die or not.
You know the chat's gonna side with Sean. Don't even put yourself in that
If they
position.
choose you, I kill you. If they say you die, I agree with them. Okay, so you two are here. Luckily, with his hunter senses, you were not surprised.
I've got my tome of rules right here.
Okay, yes, help me out. I tried to read up on Blood Hunter, but it's still a bit confusing for
Same
me.
Z's. We'll get it. We'll hunt some blood.
Okay.
Y'all gotta help me remember musical cues.
Okay, well, this one rolls up to your master, and it looks like it pauses
Oh my god, don't kill my master.
and waits. And then this one runs up, and as this one runs up, the other one manages to attack.
Smart.
I'll switch to the character death music.
Okay.
Alright.
That one misses on the first attack. And hits with the second one.
That's your first mead.
It's good. Probably shouldn't drink the whole glass, but it's good.
You'll be fine.
Yeah.
Why?
One.
I see how all those dice.
You know what? You are experienced enough that you know that rogues, especially assassins, frequently
Poison daggers.
just manage to slip in at the proper moment to get just almost like a sneaky attack right where it needs to go.
Sneaky
Hmm.
attack. I'm
You
still not
also see
following.
your
Yeah, you have to come up
master
with a better name for it.
I think I've heard that.
steal himself. You have no problem seeing that there's just looks like there's some sort of liquid on the dagger as they stab, and you see him focus his eye though. Doesn't seem like he suffers any other effects. The other one will attack him now though. Gets him. Okay. And here. This time, as the other one digs into his back, you see one of his arms go limp. And you know, you can see his veins already raising up, you know that there's poison coursing through his body. These two, as well trained as the others, step right up to you.
Mm-hmm.
The first one waits, faints as the other one comes and attacks you. What's your armor class?
18.
18. Whoa. That one did not get you. Swings again. That one did. This short sword that's so curved digs right into you. You take 23 damage, and I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, DC 15.
No, you wronged me. Get a better one. Con save.
Mm-hmm. Yikes. Ouch.
You got an inspiration.
Lydia.
I'm gonna
Okay.
try with another boy. If I was a werewolf right now, I'd be critting all over the place. That's a 14 and I have a modifier.
Gotcha.
So I'm good.
For a moment, you feel the poison start to burn your skin, and you manage to pull out the blade. As you see the liquid dripping, you know that you barely escaped. Now the other one attacks you.
I'm gonna give you inspiration for doing such a good job so far. And to help you out.
Gets you. You take 21 more damage. And I need another Constitution saving throw from you, please.
These are good dice.
Oh yeah.
Again,
Team.
Nice.
you manage to almost flex and pull back so that it seems like the full bit of the poison just gets on your armor.
Getting back to
there's-
bed from Fire TV. I had trouble communicating with that device. Check your device's network connection and power supply.
I guess she who shan't be named wants to play.
That
was weird.
That one gets you. Okay. You take 4 points of damage. I need another Constitution saving throw, please.
I will spend this.
Okay.
Try the orange boy.
Luck.
There we go.
All right. For Sebrin's turn, he draws his sword, and against his now limp arm, he drags the sword down it, and as his blood comes out, you see a strange purple energy come all around his blade, and he attacks the one directly in front. Not on that one. Does get it there. And you see him slash up, and one of the assassins kind of pull back in anguish as he just sliced right up this strange leather armor that looks like a series of belts just all over themselves. And then, that was his second attack. So that's him. And he's looking at you, but you see that his dead eye is intent on his quarry. It is now your turn.
I'm going to enact some right damage. So I'm going to imbue my weapon with some elemental fire
Dope.
for an extra d6. That's a bonus action. And I get 2 attacks. That's a 3.
Pray that
That's an
won't
attack.
get it.
That's a
Oh
2.
my god.
If you aren't having fun, just say so.
You raise your arm up as you pull your sword out, and you dig a cut over your already incredibly scarred arms. And as the blood drips again now, fire just ignites. You go to swing, and they parry, and they seem to be working with each other. One kind of pushes up, the other they're blocking, almost just fighting as a complete unit, like two arms of the same body. It is now their go.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm just gonna roll. Okay,
This is on him.
that's on him.
Okay.
I'm just gonna do. Oh, I rolled one too many. I'll take away that 6. As another one digs in and the poison goes, you see him fall limp and fall to the ground. And as the other one sees that he falls to the ground, he looks up at you, puts its hand on his chest, and drags its curved short sword across his throat. Your master spares one last look at his apprentice and closes his eye.
I hate this game.
With that, they both move in this way.
Told you Sean would never kill anybody.
Well,
I really liked this Blood Hunter class. This was fun to play.
alright. This is both attacks on you from the first one. Didn't get you. Here's the second one over there. Okay. You take 17 points of damage, and I need a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. It's a 19.
You made it. Here's the second hit. You take 4 points of damage. I need another Constitution
No,
saving
you don't,
throw.
because I'm dead.
You're down?
Yeah.
So you fall unconscious.
Ooh, just by the way, Wiley just got you to a reroll here. 1 divine reroll, 1 Wiley 20.
That'll be good for a death save.
Yeah, you're dead. You ain't dead.
Don't even have to worry about it because you feel another knife go into your heart. The world has gone black, I'm afraid. Henrik.
Can I have some of that meat?
Please, thanks.
I'm just kidding.
This one's for Adara.
Rest in peace.
R.I.P. in peace.
Latin, but not.
Man, I wish that didn't feel good. But it did. Okay. Henrik, you have the night. They've offered to let you stay at the church, or do you feel like you would have given him directions to where you're staying,
Yeah, probably so.
which is at your house?
I think he would, where his daughter now lives.
Yep.
So yeah, he would head there. Invite him, of course. There's an ample guest chamber.
Yeah, I think I'd be more inclined to go stay with my boy.
Okay. Then you head on your way, and we're going to cut to you first, because you
Alright.
probably would have arrived first, I imagine.
Mm-hmm. I remember her name. Hold on. That was one of those things that I was like, cool, backstory.
Hefeweizen, right?
Yeah,
Daughter
yep.
McDaughter face.
Heffy McHeffeweizen. There we go, got it.
Hildretha.
Yeah, he would call it Hildy.
Okay. Do you pull the bell?
Oh, yeah, I think he would. He would have stopped at one of the little trinket dealers and
Mhm.
bought a little toy for Ryder first. In fact, a toy hippogriff.
Got it. Okay.
Even like a wood carving or whatever. Maybe a mechanical gnomish one.
You have the money. You absolutely I'm gonna roll a percentage. You buy one, I'm gonna just see.
It's a real.
You find a gnomish dealer who. Well, I've got just that. It's my top. It's my top. The best I've ever made.
All right, I'll take it then.
He pulls out this toy hippogriff, and it's all mechanical, almost clockwork, and he winds it up. You expect it to walk. It starts to walk, and it takes off in flight. Mechanical flight.
Tight.
And it kind of just hovers. Maybe 8 inches off of where the hand was. Just... it's a magnificent toy, frankly.
Cool. Yeah, he would take that.
You ring the bell. A bit strange thing happens. Your daughter herself answers the door. Servants have been a regular piece of your house always. They've become almost part of your family at times. But she answers herself, and she's looking... Maybe her dress is not shabby by any means, but is not as overdone as you've seen in the past. She's like, Papa.
I think he'd be like, oh, Hildy, wasn't expecting you.
I'd come in, give her a big hug.
She squeezes you hard. She's like, and kind of pulls away and looks at you, and you can see she's already getting a little teary-eyed. She's like, Papa, I'm so glad to see you.
Oh, and you. Where's Tarvin? You shouldn't be opening the door. You never know what kind of brigand could be about.
She's like, well, we've kept the services of Tarmin, but not as much of late. Why don't you just come inside?
All right, then.
Grab his shabby ass pack.
You walk in.
I think he's also filthy.
Yeah, I think so. You come in and the dirt of your boots hits on the mosaic tile floor of the vestibule of your house. It's like a townhome. Goes up. You do still have a staircase that goes up through many renovations. It's been in your family for generations. She's like, well, you might want to take off your boots, Papa.
Of course. Apologies, it's been some time since I've had any kind of luxury. I'm afraid. A lot of time on the road. Smell of a campfire, apologies.
That's all right. Like, I'll make sure we have some of your other clothes still upstairs. Of course, we keep them for you.
Oh, well, thank you, my dear. It's good to see you, Hildy. Tell me what's been going on.
She's like, well, it's the same. She's like, the Merchants Guild has been doing its best in these destitute times. She's like, Marsden as well, her husband. Like, we've worked hard. Ryder's doing quite well with his schooling and his studies.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that. I brought him something.
She's like, I'll call him now. She's like, Ryder, I have a surprise for you. And you see at the top of the stairs a child hang over the banister and be like, Grandfather! And
oh, hello, my dear boy!
he almost tackles into your chest. And
You do the old grandpa hair tussle.
And I'm like, oh, look, I brought you this.
And I think he would pull it out, but he would cast dancing lights first. So 4 globes of light kind of come around it. And he would present it to him.
Grandfather, magic.
Yes, wind it up.
He wants it. He looks at his mom almost. She's like, go ahead. He winds it, and it takes a few steps off of his palm and just starts mechanically flying 8 inches. I mean, he's just clapping. He's just like, just doing weird kid dance, just almost the Ash run, just like he can't contain how excited he is. It looks both ridiculous and adorable.
And if you've some time tomorrow, I could take you to lunch and show you a real one. a friend of mine. Her name's Shimmermane. She'll be delighted to meet you. If that's okay with you, of course, Hildy.
Of course, Papa.
Yep. The musical cues. There's a device we can get that would help with this, actually.
Battle music as you're in your home. You hear a knock at the door.
There we
I'm
go.
not crying.
No?
I'm just not
Because you're
crying.
dead? Oh, okay. No, you really mean you're not dead.
Yeah.
You're not crying.
No, I just have allergies. It's just allergies.
Allergic to being dead.
Mm-hmm.
It is evening now, so it seems he hears from upstairs. You see Marsden. He's like, Father.
Ah, yes, Marsden. Good to see you. How are things?
He's like, well, as best as they can be. He goes to shake your
Yeah,
hand.
give him the old clasp.
Oh, we weren't expecting you, but this is a magnificent surprise.
Yes, forgive me for not sending word before. Just doing some traveling.
He just like smiles as his clothes are like shabby and torn and ripped up, and there's armor.
Yep. Marsden looks. You've always liked Marsden. He's always been polite. You've had a handful of political arguments over the
Right.
years, but
Right.
but overall, he adores Hildy and is dutiful in his work.
Mm-hmm.
You're the only warrior, though. All of them, they all were merchants. Hildy's like, well, you actually have come at the perfect time, Father. Klaus is coming down.
Oh, wonderful. It'd be great to see you. What luck?
Like, well, I suppose we were to. Marston's like, well, you'll get a chance to. And she's like, maybe it's best as a surprise. He's like,
Oh, I'm surprised. I do love surprises.
she's like, it's a good one, Papa.
I think he probably hates surprises. Historically, he's like, "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me about this?
I love surprises.
I love surprises.
This is my house. I should have known about this."
He did not love surprises, in fact.
Yeah.
The narrator,
Ron Howard, yeah.
Ron Howard narrating. He did not love surprises.
Well, they bring you upstairs and they start preparing a meal.
I think he would help. Actually, he would go wash up. He'd go take a bath.
You walk past what is their room, what used to be your room. And the pings of the memory you just had of Genevieve are there. And you see the styles have changed, but I mean, overall, not that different.
He would pause for a second. Kind of lean up against the door frame. Move on.
You walk into, though for a long time they kept Ryder's room the same. Even you and your wife at some point made it a guest room.
Right.
And it is now. There's still a handful of Ryder's things in there. Somewhat of a memoriam, but they kind of fit in with the guest room themselves. And you frequently have stayed there. Like you say, you know exactly where to go.
Right.
And it's near the water closet and where to wash up. Though this is the first time that you've had to draw your own water
Right.
and heat it up.
Yeah, well.
There, at your own home.
Yeah. He would find it a little peculiar.
You do. And you find clothes, and I think you have a sharp memory. You're like, I haven't worn this since.
I remember some party or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would dress nice too. I imagine my dude has like silk with a mandarin collar. You know?
Capes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely got a cape closet. Try out which cape. Oh, this one. It's got like the half shoulder. You know?
You come back down, and they've made quite a nice dinner. And you do see that they do have some help there. So nobody you recognize, but a handful of people are like, well, please come, Father.
Where is the rest of the help?
Marsden looks at Hildegard, or Hildretha, and they look at each other and like, well, to be honest, Father, the times are hard. We had the means to keep everybody on, should we have chosen to, but we discussed it and we thought Perhaps the noble thing to do was to give most of our wealth and put it back into the economy to try to stabilize what would be crumbling.
What do you mean? What did you do with it?
Well, we've invested it in shipping and other things. They haven't reaped the rewards, but no businesses have enough money coming in. There wasn't enough money to even go around. And frankly, half of all of that stolen loot and treasure went to our allies, the Metallic Dragons.
Yes, it did.
That was the fortune of an entire nation. So there's half of the fortune somewhat back.
Double-edged sword, it was.
Hildy looks, she's like, if I'm being honest, Father, I asked what you would do. And I thought that's what you would do.
I think he would think back to his wife, like, how come it's gotta be you? He would kind of think about it. He'd probably get a little, like, probably stare at her for a little too long with some watery eyes, like,
Yes, of course, girl, come here.
he'd kiss her on her head.
She hugs you. And then there's a ring at the door. Henrik, you are standing at the door of... It's like a townhome as we know, but I mean, it's a manor. It's a manor house, as you would imagine, maybe almost Victorian London, how they're massive houses, but they just happen to be right next to each other.
I think he'd be a little bit like, he knew Broderick had plenty of money, but he was always so scruffy, he never pictured him somewhere like this. He was like, oh, this is weird.
I think Broderick would be like,
Oh, I'm so sorry. I do have a guest. I failed to mention it. I'll get the door.
They're like, they seem pausing for a second. They're like, I mean, of course that's fine, Papa. And I'm like, wait, we should send another play. You see them starting to be.
I think he would secretly relish it just a little bit to be the pain in the ass grandpa.
I mean, Ryder's just been looking up with the Sebastian goof. The whole just. Like, I mean, back and forth. Like, this is not an average day.
Oh man, I think he would cast Whisper to Ryder and be like,
If you go clean Grandpa's boots, I'll give you some gold. Much more than your mother needs to know about.
He doesn't understand that he has to whisper, and he's like, I'll do that! I'm like, Ryder, what do you say? He's like, nothing. You head down the stairs into the vestibule.
alright, yeah, he would open the door, probably feeling pretty good spirits.
Ah, Stalwart! Welcome. Please come in, come in.
Your
Got my rocket
your dear friend
one shoulder cape
in a mandarin collar and a cape, well
Kind of look at
freshened
himself
up.
and be like, well,
Your armor is functional, but you have been in so many battles now that even that finely appointed armor is got dents. I mean, straight up, like, it has cleaves in it from a handful of things that I think you know how to basically fix, but
don't care.
yeah. And this is the home, yeah.
Please, come in, Stalwart. How was it? Is the ceremony tomorrow?
It is.
Victus.
Victus was quite hospitable, though a bit frail.
If you wouldn't mind, just put your mace here. Maybe take your boots off.
I think he laughed. Oh, all right. Suddenly the proper man with the roof over your head. Jovially.
Yeah.
Yes, this is... Well, I've given this up for our life. What's the matter with me?
Kind of think about it for a second.
I hope I'm worth it.
You're not. Please, come in. We're just about to make dinner. Not that I've lifted a finger. The benefit of being a grandfather, you know.
I don't suppose I'll ever know the pleasure.
No. I am sorry about that.
Oh, it's quite all right. Not my lifestyle.
We're gonna cut from a moment from you two.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be heading up the stairs. Adara.
Death save?
No.
Dead.
You're dead.
Oh, okay.
Just dead.
Just, okay.
You cheated.
You cheated.
You've been falling for what seems like so long. You fall into a deep ocean, and it's like you're You're made of lead. You continue to sink through the bottom. You're wondering why you're not suffocating. After you hit the bottom, you sink down into the earth. And there's just earth crumbling around you. Dirt getting in your mouth and your eyes. And then you pass through that. You fall for some time, what feels like it should be through a sky. And then again, into fire. And you fall and you fall, and you land in a city made entirely of brass. As you look around, it's just an entire world of fire. And then your eyes snap awake. And a beautiful elf is standing over you. The light now almost blinds you, but as you look around, you're in a church. A finely appointed church. It looks new, in fact.
Really? How beautiful is the elf?
Incredibly.
Solid 4.
And frankly made all the more beautiful because unlike the elves that you left, this one is kindly looking at you. And I mean, looking at you into your eyes. You are a living being. Welcome back.
Who are you?
I'm Ennis Niello, the High Matron of the Church of Annalore. You know exactly who that is. Once the name hits.
I'm just having a fangirl about my own character.
She was always my favorite character.
What happened and how did I get here? Did you get Severin?
She helps you up. She's like, let me answer those questions one at a time. Like, you were found in an alley. You and your companion were murdered.
Yes, that I remember.
You were brought here as some people who were murdered are, and those who are not ready for death, I can bring back. I have that power. Limited, but I do my best. Your companion, she closes her eyes, opens them, and gives you a sad smile. Like, I can only bring back the willing, I'm afraid.
I understand.
Like, I felt your soul and I brought it back from wherever it may have gone. Which says to me that perhaps you have a purpose. Something unfulfilled.
Forever grateful for what you've done for me.
I don't need to be grateful. She's like, that's my task in this life. As you stand up, you see that you're in a room that's away from clearly what would be the main hall of a congregation. There's some people waking up, and there's some people starting to lay down. She's like, I both bring people back and I shepherd them as peacefully as I can into the next life, into Annalore's arms. As you walk past, you can see clearly what are some of her acolytes too, with old elves. And you know from the crescent moons on their face that they're lying down and they're already in burial garments. And you can see people whispering things to them and them shut their eyes, probably for the last time. And they have just a face of peace and serenity. Like, we did recover these things, though. And you look and there's the packs of you and your master.
Mm-hmm.
There's the sword that you've had there, but there's also his sword. Part of it's moved unsheathed, and you can still see blood running down it. I can certainly bury his things if you like.
I think I would like to keep this one thing. Just, it was very important to him, and it was important to our bond.
I understand. I have a sword I feel that way about. Well, where will you go, my child?
I was traveling with 2 companions. I will find them, and we will continue on in our mission.
I know that life.
I have met Nithvis.
Oh. She is as dear as a sister to me.
She has given me this job.
Mm.
She's helping me fulfill my destiny.
Mighty it must be then. I've heard rumblings of things within the valley. Old things. Trying to awake.
Yes. Those are more than rumblings.
I felt as much. She's like, I'd go myself, but there are other things that are troubling me right now. She kind of looks around the halls. Something for another time, though. I'm sure I'll figure it out. Is there anything else I can do for you?
What will you do with him?
Well, we'll bury him. There's frankly a large plot that I've bought just outside of Waterdeep. It's beautiful. It's absolutely magnificent. We can put a stone there with his name if you like. Otherwise, I'm afraid we just plant what flowers we can. We have a few druids here that make truly lovely graves out of them. But we can do whatever you like that you're here.
Just wish his family could be here.
Is there a word we can send to somebody?
Yeah.
I see. Well,
I think flowers would be great. Thank you for all that you have done.
of course, thank you for what you're going to do.
I would reach out and just like,
Oh, she takes both of your hands. She's like, trust yourself and trust your friends.
Thank you.
Of course. Go in peace. And you head out. You also have your master's sword, which, you know, is the sword of the Hunter's Oath. You've seen it used plenty of times by your master. It is a +1 sword, longsword. You can banish the sword, much like a warlock can, and you can recall it with a bonus action. And it always comes out of one of your old wounds.
Tight.
So there are times you frequently saw him reach into his own chest, pull out his sword from a demi-plane of some sort. You can also, as a bonus action, you may spend a hit die as if you were on a short rest. It still spends your hit die. You only get it back on a long rest, but you can mid-combat spend a hit die to heal yourself.
That's fantastic.
that's really good. What's it called? The Sword of...
The Sword of the Hunter's Oath, which we will make at some point here.
Where are we gonna make that?
In Pyong!
What?
What?
As you're heading out.
I thought I heard Howard Dean coming over.
As you hold the sword, though, you think of the quiet moments that you spent with him, but you also think about that one of the first times that you trained with him. And you flash back. And you're standing in what is somewhat of a dojo, but it's not really that. He lived almost in squalor. He had just tomes of things all over the place. Weapons strewn about. His table, you ate with him frequently. His meals were a complete necessity meal.
Mm-hmm.
Only because he knew that he needed fuel in his body. There was almost never anything of luxury.
Like Soylent.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he's training with you for some of the first times with a long sword. And you guys are going through the motions, and he's like all elves, he's like, you've had combat training, yes? You have.
Yes,
And you know the rules of combat?
of course.
He's like, good. And he pulls out a dagger and cuts you across your chest, completely by surprise. And I mean, it's painful. And then he kicks you. He's like, good, because none of those matter. And you are bleeding and backing up.
What?
He's like, what are you going to do? He kicks your sword out.
I feel like I just like ignite my hand
You
and
don't
like
have,
come after him.
you don't have quite those abilities yet, but
No,
you're-
like I'm just like on fire. Like I'm not gonna.
Oh, I
harmful,
got you.
Like
your hair lights up and you come running at him. And he moves you and with his full force picks you up and throws you against the wall. Your whole side, you know, is bruised. Potentially your shoulder's dislocated. He's like, that's sloppy. He's like, but I like the fire. Keep your anger. He's like, that'll keep you through.
I feel like I would just keep coming at him.
You do. He puts you down every time, and he does not pull a single hit. And at some point, you're bleeding, and he comes from behind you, and you can see the blade in front of you that's pointed directly at your stomach. And he takes your other hand and he puts it over you, over the same blade. And he's like, this blade is 2 feet long. I'm only a foot from you. But you're going to have to plunge it through yourself to get to me. What are you going to do? What do you do?
I'm pissed. I'm gonna do it.
You plunge a blade into your own stomach, and it is pain like you've never felt. And you can feel him behind you. Just, ah! And you feel, once your blood hits it in his blood, this is a moment that your oath has been made. And the blade ignites. You don't feel it nearly as much, because you have your resistance to fire. You pull it out, and he pushes you away, and you both fall down. You've taken the first step. That's all for today. And that was the end of your training and the day you made your oath with your master. And you're in the streets of Waterdeep. Let's go back to you two. You are now coming up the stairs for the first time in the house. Your family has quickly in that time managed to get a place, as you know that they know exactly the etiquette of having a guest in the house, and they've rushed to make it happen. And your son-in-law is putting some of the plates out, and your daughter is smoothing off. And as you come up, and she's, welcome.
Hildy, forgive me again for not preparing you. This is my friend Henrik. He is a stalwart of Tempest.
Marsden is like, a stalwart, a man of the cloth is always welcome in our home.
Not much cloth on me, but thank you.
He laughs. He's like, thank you. If I knew the greetings of the faith, I would do so, but I'm apologize.
I'm not a formal man, thank you. Hello works.
Hildy comes over, clearly bearing some of the resemblance of Broderick. She's like, hello, stalwart. Welcome. She gives a bow.
Nice to meet you. You look like the better parts of your father.
She's like,
And the rest of it's her mother.
more my mother, I think, and winks at you. She's like, Ryder, come over here. A small child gets up, just beaming.
I think it's
Not shy.
Yeah.
hello there.
How old is he?
8, not, well, no, 9. Because
Yeah,
that was
9.
9.
I think I'd say, nice to meet you, young man.
And then I think I make some little flaming swords dance around me because I figured that would amuse him.
Well,
Yeah.
you can absolutely do that. I mean,
So I need to use my 3rd level slot to cast
you and your spirit
Spirit
guardians and
guardians.
chop my man up.
No, I can pick who
No spirit guardians in the house, please!
I can pick who to target, so I just picked nobody.
Oh, you listen.
Caught lid.
You're like, hey, check this out. Everyone dies.
It's a nice family, though.
Spirit guardians. Okay.
Hildy was it?
He's
You're not even here. You're not allowed to laugh.
Go laugh in the corner.
I'll just go behind the brick wall here.
Go behind the old courtyard wall. The definitely real courtyard wall.
He now is just completely wow. And he's like, so much magic. Do you think you were able to do magic before the last time you saw them?
In my backstory, it was that it awoke at the Well of Dragons.
That's correct.
He woke up and was able to do some of it, so no.
Okay, that's what I thought. So he's like, so much magic happening. He's like,
That sounds like some shit in
he's like, Mom, there's so much magic. She's like, indeed there is. She's like, a Star Wars doesn't surprise me. She's like, I never remember Papa doing magic before, though.
What can I say? An old dog can learn new tricks.
And I think he would, like, run his hand through the air to produce dancing lights and kind of make them swirl around a little bit.
They're all just enthused. They're like, Marsden's like, this is incredible.
Parlor tricks, really, I'm afraid.
You guys sit down?
Yeah.
Please, let us feed you.
Would you like to take off your armor? You're quite safe here. I'm sure we could scrounge some clothes for you.
All right.
He'd take off his armor, I guess.
Yeah. He'd go show him, like,
And in there you can wash up.
You take the time. None of the clothes here. You find some night clothes that manage to fit. I mean, you're just your muscles. I mean, you're so strong. Like nobody's clothes here quite fit you.
I think maybe he'd look at the clothes, see they're a little too fine, and be like, and maybe wouldn't even try anything on, put his own on, and say, "Oh, none of it fit, I'm afraid." But
yeah, I'd get you a nice cape.
yeah.
You don't quite know how to wear it. You're like,
Yeah, no actual cape.
and you guys sit down. And Hildy looks.
Henrik, my daughter and her husband work for the Merchants Guild. They've reinvested in some of the infrastructure here at Waterdeep, from my understanding. Isn't that right, dear?
She's like, that's right. She's like, we just didn't feel right hoarding all our money when the city could crumble without an influx of monetary value.
I think Broderick could do the thing where he's kind of staring at her a little too long. Like he's just so moved by it, you know, such an act from his daughter. I think he's just looking at her with pride.
And you've always known your daughter to be kind, but you also know that working for the merchants, like her and Marston were both, they liked their things.
Mm-hmm.
They liked to buy things.
Sure.
There were never shits about status. I mean, you remember a few times when she was a teenager, you having to I mean, why shouldn't I be able to do blah, blah, blah? We're nobility. You're like, let me explain something to you, young lady.
Right.
So, in some ways, maybe you forgot how much she had grown.
I think Henrik would say, I see you take more than just your appearance from your father. He's a good man, as I'm sure you know.
Oh, you embarrass me.
I'd never say it in front of him.
She's like, he is a good man. We've all been incredibly proud of him and impressed by him over the years.
You both do me a great honor.
Marston's like, well, would you care to regale us with any of your adventures?
I think Broderick would definitely shoot Henrik a bit of a glance, you know, like, you know, just that sort of long, like,
Don't tell
Yeah.
him about the danger.
yeah, I think he would say, like,
Well, on our first journey, we found ourselves in a great spire. And the knights there, Knights of the Feathergale, you know, they fought at the well. They were quite friendly.
Marston looks up and he's like, I've heard of the Feathergale Knights. It's like, I've known a few who've joined them, I think.
Have you? Well, yes. They gifted me a hippogriff, as a matter of fact, yes. We so charmed them, didn't we, Stalwart?
I think he probably intentionally had food in his mouth because his deception is terrible.
You don't even say yes or no, just.
Go ahead and roll a deception.
Okay.
I'd do like a
I
diagonal
think
nod.
he's maybe even intentionally sabotaging himself a little.
Do you want me to deception too?
No, you auto failed.
Okay. I had food in my mouth. And I was doing a diagonal. Neither yes nor no.
Marsden.
Yeah, I think he would probably pick up on the fact.
Marsden seems to get it. Hilda's already there. She's like,
Yeah, he would lock eyes with her and look at the boy. He would try to communicate to her, like, yeah, it wasn't that.
yeah, Marsden, one, picked up on your deception, two, knows his wife. And is
Yeah.
he's like, well, they weren't all the best that I remember, and spent a lot of time hunting. Anyway, what else have you?
Oh man, I think he would tune him out for a second, be thinking about Safra, and be like,
They started out that way. They did.
like, awkward, like, just kill the conversation. Take a bite of his food.
Everybody is quiet, and then Ryder is like, have you fought any dragons?
No, thankfully, mercifully, no. Not recently, no. But you know about the big battle with the dragons. My friend was there as well.
It was. You should have seen it.
He's just awkwardly pulling his chair over to you, and Hilde's like, seems to just let it go.
Yeah.
He's like, mm-hmm.
It took many of us. But in the end, the dragon was defeated. Many great warriors helped.
Look into it.
Man,
It's
I think
verifying.
again he'd be staring off, like, having seen the war memorial, remembered all his friends that fell. I think he's got a little bit of the 1,000-yard stare going on right here, like, just kind of.
I think Henrik might pick up on it and say, I don't know. Have you ever seen a dragon? Just, he has terrible charisma, so.
He's like, I did see a dragon. One flew to the castle before the big war. It was silver. Flew there. I saw it.
That's right, you did see it, yes. It cast a great shadow, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
I think Broderick could try to change the subject.
At that point, you guys go on, and Marsden and Hildy seem to pick up, and they start kind of droning on about the goings-on in Waterdeep.
I think Broderick would lean into it. Like, he would, probably start feigning it,
Yeah.
but then eventually actually care about it, you know what I mean? Like,
But, oh, he did what? Now, he was always a bit of a rapscallion, you know.
like, he'd try to get in on all the politics.
And you do. You get, both the juicy gossip of things. You get some of the rumors, but, I mean, you get the kind of main things. You know that Lord Daggelt has, frankly, tirelessly been trying to keep the realm together. Everybody holds him in high regard. Most of what the factions are up to. Just the kind of current state. I mean, Waterdeep isn't hurting nearly as bad. But that's why they have so many refugees here.
Right.
Because they're the capital.
Yeah, because it's a nice bastion.
And at that point, you hear another ring at the bell.
I think Broderick could look for an excuse to get away from the table just for a second.
Okay. I mean, they allow you to.
I'd like, oh, allow me, I'll get that.
Are you sure, Father?
Yes, I could do to stand up, stretch my legs a bit, you know.
Okay.
Roll initiative.
4 assassins are at the door.
Oh, God.
No.
He would go to said door.
You open the door and turning around is Klaus. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
Father!
They'd be like, ah! Klaus!
Klaus embraces you. It's a rough embrace. He's a blacksmith. I mean, his arms are just heavy.
Oh man, I think like, yeah, what are you doing? You're late for dinner, dear boy.
As you are hugging him, though, you look behind him. There's a young woman.
Oh man, he'd be like, oh, you've brought a friend.
He's like, Father, I didn't know you'd be here. He's like,
No worries, no apologies necessary.
well-
It was last minute, a bit of a drop in.
he's like, well, Father, this is Amelia. Amelia, this is my father. Father, this is my wife.
Oh man, he'd be like, wife. Pleasure to meet you. He'd hug her.
Yeah, I mean, she comes in and somewhat sheepishly is like, Father?
He'd be like, oh, of course, yes, of course. Dinner was just being. There's plenty going on up here. Come in.
You usher them in. They come up the stairs. Hilda's there. She's like, Klaus. Marston gets up and he's like, hello. Ryder again comes barreling through to hug his uncle and introduces. Seems to be the first time any of them have met.
Cool.
I mean, since he lives in Neverwinter.
Right.
And they go through the motions and they're all being top of etiquette, but also genuinely enthused.
Yeah, I mean, Broderick is.
So-
Also, like, just spinning, like, oh my god.
Yeah.
There's been a lot wild roller coaster today for Brody.
They set 2 more places.
You're just kind of sitting like, alright.
Yeah, Henrik might be a little relieved that another stranger's in the room, but yeah.
And you remember, you guys stayed with Klaus when you were in Neverwinter. That was the last place. And in fact, Nas helped you get out as another guild, sent some rogues to take care of his blacksmithing, and you defended it, and Nas showed up.
Yep.
And
That's right, so you would recognize him.
Yeah.
That's how we got together.
and Klaus comes back over and he's like, Stalwart, it's good to see you again.
And you?
He sees your armor over in the corner, I think. He's like, new armor?
Yes,
Seems like fine work.
it is. It's done me quite well.
I'm sure it could use your touch if only there was time.
Well, I may be able to. I can work fast. I'm part of the guild here.
No, you're not here to work. Please, thank you.
He's like, and is your friend Nos here?
Afraid not.
No. I think he would like, no.
He looks around. He's not he's not nearly as quick and charming as his father, but he's like,
Man, I think a pretty serious melancholy would be setting in. Like, Broderick's like, man, I can't even.
yeah.
These conversations are hard to even have right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think he'd just kind of be looking down a little bit.
Most of dinner passes. At some point, you're showing Ryder your weapon. I mean, he wants to fucking see it.
Yeah. And he would talk about Klaus's masterwork.
And Klaus, while you're doing that, looks at the other sword. He's like, Father, what's this? And I mean, he pulls it out.
Ah, funny story about that blade. The Stalwart and I were temporarily distanced from our belongings. And that was a gift from an Aarakocra, no doubt. You know, the bird people. Something about the blade spoke to me.
He's like, well, it's an old design. He's like, rusty as all of the hells. But he sees the blade underneath. He's like, he smells it. He's like, Father, actually, I think there's quite a nice blade under here.
Ah, well, much like me, there's more than meets the eye to it, isn't there?
He's like, you know, I don't have a magical bone in my body, but I've seen enough magical blades. I think this has some magic to it.
Is that so?
It wouldn't take me long. I could clean this up.
I don't want to be a burden on your visit to Waterdeep, and the Stalwart and I do have to leave tomorrow, I'm afraid. We've got some pressing matters. Nothing important, of course, but pressing nonetheless.
The next day, right? Or was it-
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he would say amend it to say the next day.
I could do it before then. I could get it done, Father.
I'd be most appreciative, boy. The other blade you've made me, it's been wonderful, wonderful. Not an issue with it. I've kept it sharpened and oiled as you instructed.
Yes. Well, I learned how to do that from you, Father. And you think back to him showing, frankly, an interest in just metalwork and weapons. What you thought was going to turn into a budding young warrior turned, frankly, into somebody kind of obsessed with metallurgy and blacksmithing and how things went together. It went a completely different route than you expected.
I did have a bit of work done to it. I hope you're not mad. I did have it silvered. All sorts of creatures
He's
out
like,
there.
I understand. He looks at him. He's like, the best job. He's like, but
It's done the trick. It's held
So-
up.
he's like, but these are tools, Father. He's like, and they're made to be used.
It's seen some use.
He nods. He's like, well, the rest of the night passes easily. You guys sleep. You would have found a place to stay. You did not know where they went.
Did I know where Severn was
You
staying?
didn't, but there's also no. There's plenty of places to stay.
Oh, yeah,
in
yeah.
Waterdeep.
I didn't know if I knew where he would stay, so I could go look at to see if he left anything behind.
You didn't hear.
Sorry, Broderick didn't tell you.
That's okay.
You find a place to stay. We're gonna take another quick break, just a fiver, and then we're gonna come back. And don't go away because we do have the ceremony.
5 minutes.
Welcome back, everybody, to Waterdeep, to our heroes. Enjoying some downtime, or maybe not so much enjoying some
Say
downtime.
I was enjoying it.
Wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
But the night seems to pass uneventfully. No dreams.
Ooh. What have we got going on here? Oh boy. Go ahead, I'm just gonna fix this. You go.
No dreams have happened.
Doing it live, guys.
You two sleep in a very comfortable bed. You have also some comfortable accommodations, but you did pick a place that you were... It's less about the accommodations and more about... how...
This is Andrew just stumbling
I did
around
not
after
hit.
drinking.
I did not hit that one.
After Andrew had a little bit of mead, just stumbling around,
I
hitting all
hit
the
this one,
cameras.
but not that one.
Yep.
Our other mean boy must have hit that one.
Nope, not me.
Not me. Stupid.
Oh.
All right,
Welcome.
sorry.
Welcome, Grifo, PTF. I'm glad that you have made it.
Oh,
too.
thanks, man.
Yeah,
Glad
hey.
you could make it.
You came in just after I cried, so
We've come post-cry,
Mhm.
so good timing. You picked a place that was a bit more discreet with good sightlines of the city. This time you feel like you covered your tracks, or maybe nobody's hunting you because they succeeded.
Yeah.
You do, as you are reflecting on it though, you do remember seeing a symbol worn by some of them. And as you had been with the cults, they showed you what the symbols of the different cults were. And it was the cult of the Crushing Wave, which you think would make sense with all of the water there. That they were on contract. You remember that as you wake up.
did word get out that I was
There you were.
that I had turned,
I mean,
or that I was working with them? I just don't know.
you have no idea. You know that the fire cult hates the water cult,
Mhm.
so
Oh, okay. I didn't know that, so yes.
so you
Now I
don't-
do.
Sorry.
You can meet them at the appointed time. It is the morning time. Klaus heads out. He's already gone by the time you're awake.
Sword missing?
Yes.
That's early, because if he's awake before an old man,
You were awake, but
didn't get out of bed.
I think, he just seemed to get up and go. And you have breakfast. Everybody has breakfast together. You hear a bit more about Amelia. And she's affable and kind.
He'd be curious about her, but eventually it would kind of wear thin, I think, a little.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
she doesn't press it. This is still her first time meeting everybody,
Yeah.
but and then you guys get ready to go. Strap on your armor.
Yeah, I think Henrik would let Broderick kind of lead the way as far as exiting goes, but
Yeah.
Well, we'll be back this evening. We have to head out tomorrow, but
I think he would try to brain Ryder.
Bring him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
If
well,
he's not in school. Yeah.
private tutors.
yeah. So, today's an important day for my friend. He's being... Well, I don't exactly know the nature of the ritual that's to take place. Hildy, I think I'd like to take Ryder, if that'd be alright.
Of course, Ryder, would you like to go with your grandfather? Yes.
Alright, it will be a ceremony. That means we must be quiet and respectful, yes?
Can I bring my hippogriff?
So long as you don't wind it up during the ceremony. And if you're a very good boy, I'll take you to see a real hippogriff thereafter. And then ice cream.
Suppose there's ice cream.
Dude, ice cream is thousands of years old, right?
Fantasy ice cream.
People churning it, churning the butter.
Yes! I mean, he up the stairs, comes down looking slightly disheveled, though he's put on some of his nicer clothes. He's got the hippogriff in his arms. But he kind of comes down and tries to stand tall, like he's ready to go.
Are you ready?
As I'll ever be.
I know. This must be strange for you. Thank you all. We'll see you in a little while.
Of course, good luck, Stalwart.
Thank you.
Good luck,
Good
Stalwart.
meeting you.
You as well. You guys did say you'd meet
Yep.
Adara,
So
so
go meet Adara.
At the gate.
you head to the same spot, and they come kind of marching down, and they have a small child with them.
We've adopted a boy.
Where'd you get the kid?
Hey, where'd you get the kids?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to
that's
ruin a
an
thing.
oldie but a goldie. I think you would be.
Adara, this is my grandson, Ryder. Ryder, this is Adara. She's a fire genasi.
That's right, Ryder.
This is Janasi.
Well, I am.
Oh, you're pretty.
Thank you. I'll make my hair light on fire.
Can everybody do magic? Can I do magic?
Have you tried?
I mean, you've blown his mind. He's somewhat stunned into silence.
You just have to look deep inside your heart.
I can
Or intense study. Sorry.
There was a time when I couldn't do magic. I prayed, and one day, just do a little light thing one day.
Did your parents teach you?
They did not. It just came to me through a tempest.
Through tempests.
Who, you'll learn some today, I suppose.
Well, we better not delay. It's an important day for Henrik.
You guys head back. Already outside, you see that there are. It almost looks like ceremonial guard. As opposed to almost like the kind of welcoming of others, there's a ton of warriors of Tempest standing with shields, lining the staircase leading up. The large figures are still looming high over it, but you start to walk up.
Be rather uncomfortable, but would do it.
As you start to pass the guards, one by one, as soon as you pass, they turn on both sides of you. And you continue to walk through. In a line of maybe 15 of these warriors. So 30 all in all. Are just some you see are still also gravely wounded. Missing an arm or a hand, but they still manage to as you walk in.
I think he'd awkwardly kind of like try and acknowledge each of them because he feels uncomfortable.
Yeah. He's got low charisma too. So
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And they are, if you do say something to them, they kind of don't look you in the eye, but they nod.
Yeah, I'd be doing more nods anyway, just trying to kind of like.
And you come in, and there's still seats available, but there's actually a lot of clearly just partitioners who've come to see, and they're lining the pews. I mean, some are family, and I mean, you see, it's mostly a human pantheon, but you do see, I mean, you see a couple elves, you see dwarves, you see a couple tieflings. There's a half-orc. There's actually a good number of half-orcs that are sitting. Some have their families with them, and you can see that beyond the braziers that are like outside, there's two large flames. They almost look like columns of flame that go up now on the back of the half moon, and you can see a number. Now the entire row of seats is filled around the altar, and in the center, now also wearing plate mail and kind of a large cape over it of the vestments, you see Victus. And on one you see Imdar, fresh armor. He's now shaved since one half of his beard had been singed
I
so
think I
badly.
acknowledge Imdar and give him a nod and force a nervous smile. Like a little comfort in the sea of discomfort.
He meets your gaze and seems to add weight to the comfort of his look. It seems almost brotherly or fraternal. You step up and war horns as you reach. There's 3 on each side, just it's no music, no chorus. It's the sound of war, and then drums start. Just they go on for far longer than you're comfortable with. You guys take your seats. This is clearly a large ceremony, but again, it's the church of a war god, for sure.
I'd do whatever it looked like I was supposed to do.
Victus, still with one arm, now looks like he's even more labored to move and plate now. Just motions you forward with a gauntleted hand. He's like, please kneel, Henrik.
You do it.
And it's kind of right in front of this small altar. And over it you see stretched, there's a cloth, and there's a couple things. There's a dagger, there's a pitcher, and there's a bowl. To all those who've come, you will witness the oaths of a stalwart, of a holy warrior of Tempest. Tempest, a flaming light in the wars of battle. One who seeks for justice, one who seeks glory, and to cast off the enemies of this world. Here we have a champion. Our champion. But look not just to him. Look to yourselves. You can all be champions in the eyes of Tempest. Tempest lifts those who lift themselves. Your prayers are important, but your actions are more important. More so now. And today we celebrate the actions of you, Henrik Roughsworn. To your deeds done in the name of the faith. To be officially recognized as a stalwart of this church, as you should have been long ago. You hear a couple people are like, "Here, here!" And you spare a glance and you can see it's some of the red large guards. Imdar shoots them a look. It's the ones that were in the butcher shop.
I think Henry would kind of smirk and be glad for the little disruption.
Continues to go on. How are you two feeling about this? What's going on in the pews?
Oh man, I think Broderick's watching with a big smile. I think the disruption here would also like nod at those guys. I think he's feeling it though. I think he gets what's going on.
I get it, but
Yeah, you're kind of like
Your fucking church.
you're bored.
here.
think
How am I
it's
doing
like-
this?
I just met this guy and I'm at his fucking wedding.
Watching this baptism with some baby, I don't know.
I'm at his confirmation.
The baby you don't care about. That's not even a cute baby.
Continues on. Now he kneels down on the other side. He grabs the dagger. He manages to turn his limp hand and he cuts it. He has to push
His
it.
bad hand.
Yeah, he has to push his hand
It ain't
over.
gonna get any better if you do that.
Yeah.
I'm doing a thing here, y'all.
I'm sorry.
And you see the blood drip into the bowl. And he pours a little bit out of the pitcher.
He's like, now you.
Adar is probably into this. What?
He's like, now you, Henrik. Wound yourself as the war god wounded himself in the primordial wars.
He'd be a little it's unusual for him, but he would do it.
You see the drops of blood now also drip in and dissipate.
And pour the water on top of it.
He'd do it.
You do. And he continues, and then he takes out something and crushes it, and it almost looks like dried herbs. And then he takes out what looks like dirt.
We have the holy herbs, and we have the dirt of the battlefield. Here we will drink up the earth and the blood as brothers, as fighters of the faith.
And he picks it up and takes a long sip. Some of it drips down his mouth. He doesn't quite have the dexterity with one hand. He lets it go, and he hands it to you.
Probably examine it a little bit, but know that he has to do it, so just do it.
Adar
Take
was
out
in
a packet of Splenda.
the like blood part, but like they're drinking it with dirt, and she's just like, nah, this is
I was
not how you
into
do
this,
it.
but
This is not how you do it.
Henrik Rolfstorn.
he manages to stand with more strength than you expected.
Do you swear to be fearless in the face of your enemies?
Of course.
Do you swear to never turn away from the path?
Of course.
Do you swear to be swift in your justice?
As swift as I can.
With these oaths, you may engage in holy combat. Conquer your enemies, gain their power, as Tempest did the others. There can only ever be one victor, and let it always be you, and through you let that be Tempest.
Give a nod.
As you're doing it, you feel the burn and the brand on your chest that you woke up with start to burn. And it continues burning. Each oath you say, it's a searing pain.
I think it would be really distracting and comforting to him. Like he'd be thinking about that more than listening, probably. But
And you, as you say it, your convictions go with each one and it burns, and now it's traveling what feels like in your veins. He extends his hand, and Imdar comes over and opens like a wooden box and shows it to Victus. Victus inspects it and motions to Imdar. And Imdar pulls out an amulet. And there's the holy symbol of Tempest. And you can see it is, frankly, magnificently crafted. It is platinum. And there are jewels. There's a red jewel at the top of the holy symbol, a blue at the bottom, with clearly a diamond, and an emerald on the other side. Imdar holds it over your head and looks up to Victus.
This is the holy symbol of the Sword Sworn, carried by our champions over these long years. Carried recently with our champion at the well, where she died, smouting a dragon in the name of Tempest. The fires of that day washed away all but glory in the battlefield. Washed away the unworthy. But those washed away who fought for Tempest will see him again. With this we give it to you, Stalwart.
And Imdar lowers it over your head, and the weight hits. And as it does, you can feel that your clothes within your armor have caught fire. and there's just a hole burning. And your armor's starting to heat up and start to glow red. Imdar looks down. Looks up at Victus, and Victus looks down. You instinctively stand, and as you do, even through that other armor that you have, the holy symbol of Tempest now burns a brand into your armor. And the light seems to gleam off of this holy symbol that you guys can see. The fires are catching it just right, and it almost shines out across, and you feel strong, and you feel powerful. And even through your discomfort, you feel like you're supposed to wear this symbol that you've earned it. Victus and Imdar look surprised, but gather themselves quickly.
And so here is your stalwart and your champion, Henrik Roughsworn. Honor him.
The guards that came from outside march in. The drums start beating, the horns go, and they start clasping their spears and hitting them. And each row stands and bows. And you guys, it'll get to you a couple rows back.
Go forth.
I think he'd have his head held a little higher than usual. And he would start walking. Or he'd probably give a shoulder hand to Imdar. And if he's
Imdar
Yeah.
meets the same and pats you on your back. Adamine is beaming. And you walk out, and the guard files in behind you, 2 by 2. Behind each guard is a drum and a horn, every few guards, and they follow you out in a procession.
Yeah, I'd catch Broderick's eye at one point and give him a
I think
little,
he'd be
little,
kind of
little
smiling.
proud
Like,
nod.
I think he would also kind of be like, you know, like, all this, huh?
That's a lot.
He'd cast the old like,
I'd be like, "Dang."
You exit outside, and after this, I mean, people come out, and for the better part of an hour, people are shaking your hand. It's getting exhausting. I mean, people are, you know, you see the town guard / butchers of Red Larch that are like stalwart. Can't see it's anybody more deserving.
Thank you. I appreciated your show of approval.
We're not used to all this pomp and circumstance. I mean, we're butchers by trade.
I'm no butcher, but I'm not used to it either.
Like I said, you deserve it.
Thank you.
We'll carry this on to Herlin. With that, the crowd dissipates and you guys have some time to yourselves. You can kind of finally get to Henrik after this.
Well,
That was a lot.
well earned, I think.
Too kind. Maybe you one day.
Doubtful. If only they knew what was out there. But we do.
I
It
think
was important.
they've heard. I'm sure that was exactly your cup of tea.
It was quite a ceremony.
Quite the ceremony. What did you think, little one?
tussle his hair a little.
I mean, this is a wide-eyed child. You even expected him to get bored at some point. He'll probably get bored. He's enthralled. He's like, Stalwart, that was amazing. He's like, the drums, the horns, the garments.
I think you may have enjoyed it more than I did.
He's like, I enjoyed it a lot.
Adara, we have a very important question for you. Have you ever had Waterdavian ice cream?
No, I tend to melt ice cream.
Better eat it quick then, right?
As you guys are heading there, allow me to tell you what is around your neck right now. You have the symbol of the Sword Sworn. It is a +1 holy symbol, so
Dang.
spells you cast and 2 damage as well, including Spirit Guardians, will be at a +1.
+1 to your save DCs, +1 to all your spell damages.
+1 to everything.
+1 to every spell thing.
Nice.
As well, once per day, you can... Oh, it also gives you an extra Channel Divinity.
Dang.
Once per day, you can cast each of these. There's 3 spells you can cast. You don't have to choose. Bane. From the Paladin list, Branding Smite. And Banishment.
Damn.
Oh, banishment.
Banishment, though.
Yeah, that's the 4th level spell I took.
That's
So these are free. There's nothing...
That's a good...
So once a day for each of them, or
Once a day for each. So you don't... It's not choose one to do.
Dank.
sweet.
That's
It is
dank.
dank.
That's what I
You
meant.
get the
I'll have to
idea
look
that
at
it is...
Bane and Branding's.
Bane is opposite bless.
Okay, gotcha.
So you give a d4 minus on their rolls.
And the Branding Smite does a little extra damage, but things no longer benefit from being invisible.
Sweet.
You guys get ice cream. Ryder devours it.
I like to think she's like, and it's like melting as she takes a bite.
You've never had ice cream before. How do you think you feel about it?
I hate it.
It is the
It's weird.
Nobody hates ice cream.
Well, okay, so my
Someone
experience
made
with ice cream is like, imagine always having like a really high fever.
Yeah, it would cool you down. Roll a new character if you don't like ice cream.
Fine, I love ice cream. It's amazing. She loves it.
Be an
she
ice
wants more.
genasi.
An ice genasi.
Come back as an ice genasi. Come back as an ice cream genasi.
She drinks milk and it goes down as ice cream.
Just pour sugar and milk
Yeah,
in it.
milk is
I'm more of a wood-fired pizza type genasi.
You can get water Davian wood-fired pizza. You eat that. You think it's weird at best. You're like, I mean, it's sweet, but it's weird. And then you guys go see Shimmerman.
Yeah. Take it for a quick spin.
Won't do it all, but
Yeah.
But-
yeah, you do.
Ryder is again clearly having the 2 days of his life, of his child life right now. He is nothing but stoked.
We would probably ride for a while. We'd probably fly for 2 hours or so. Let them go do some whatever else in the markets or whatever.
While you're doing that, you can, with the money you have, purchase anything within reason that you think you want to.
Get some more health potions.
Yep.
You can. You can each have 2 health potions.
Were they 50 gold apiece?
Mm-hmm.
Did I get money?
You would have started with... Yes, I think you do. You have 500 gold.
Okay, thanks. So now I have 450 gold because I bought 2 health potions.
Mm-hmm.
400. They're 50 apiece.
50
Oh,
apiece,
okay.
yeah.
You ain't getting no special fire discounts. It's a fire sale. Oh my god, it's a fire sale.
You're so stupid.
So I have like a permanent brand on my armor now.
It branded through that, burned right through that nice Feathergale armor, and it's just a seared mark of the exact same brand
On my
that
chest,
showed up on your chest.
Because one thing I wanted to do was get my armor etched with the symbol of Tempest, but this is way better. So.
Yeah, it is now
That's cool.
burned out from within you.
Nice.
Yeah. You guys, Adara coming back to your house.
I think we would invite her back.
There are
at that
plenty
point.
of guest rooms.
Yep.
I don't tell them what happened with the assassins.
Okay.
Yeah, we would have
Yeah.
no idea.
I was gonna say we would have asked at one point how her
Yeah.
day went, but
Yeah.
I assume
It
she
went
would've
fine.
gotten-
How
How was your
was it?
day?
Like, good?
It was fine.
Something wrong?
I wrote some
No.
letters.
You mad?
No.
New phone, who dis?
You show up to what is also a manor house of nobility. You're like, damn.
Okay.
You guys come in
Don't
the
get
door.
near the linens.
And again, they are preparing dinner. They have a few more hired help. It looks, and some that you recognize. Looks like they come in as needed a bit more. But they're also, and as you speak, what was the one's name you said? Travers?
Yeah. Forget.
I don't know. Like, Travers there, he's like, Lord Reinwald, good to see you again.
Oh, it's good to see you as well. How are you? How are you holding up?
Well, he's like, frankly, as much as I would have loved to stay here, I'm able to work at a number of houses this way as needed.
I don't think Broderick would take that well.
Of course.
I think he would slip him 20 gold pieces.
It's like, for all your troubles throughout the years.
He's like, my lord, that's unnecessary.
Please, I've no use for it.
Stashes it away. He's like, I hope the House of Reinwald lasts long.
Thank you.
Dinner is set. Everybody's there. Klaus comes in. And he's got a sword wrapped in cloth.
I think it's fine.
Oh, were you able to breathe new life into it, my boy?
I think the life was there the whole time, Father. The sword has an inscription upon it. Seems it has a name.
Oh, what's it? What's the language? Is Elvish? Is it a dwarvish blade or something?
I had to ask. It seems as if it's Elvish, but it seemed a strange translation. Some of it seems to be mixed with some archaic common.
Interesting.
It says it's called a Pylomer's Promise.
Tight.
That's fucking awesome. Inspiration to the DM. 2 people who got that.
Like a Pylomer's Promise. I'm not familiar.
He undoes it. It is magnificent. Your son crafted you the best sword you could have imagined. This is clearly something different. I mean,
Yeah, I think he would even like gasp a little.
and you see where, your rapier was nice. It does still have an almost cutlass edge where it has a slight turned tip. There's like a curve to it, but it's so minor and it stretches out. It looks longer than you thought, but it has the guard on it that is beautifully crafted and intricate, as well as the prongs that come out on each side. The hilt is magnificent. You see that there's jewels within the hilt.
Like, oh, who would have thought? I didn't even.
I mean, it was so covered. He's like, I needed helps of other smiths. Some more familiar with magical weapons, but we worked throughout the day and managed to get it.
Thank you. I'm sorry to cut into your vacation or visit here.
Father, I'm happy to do it.
It's a beautiful blade.
It's your blade, Father.
I think he would give it the old swisheroo.
As you do, you hear a voice almost inside of your head as it's rushing, and it almost feels like it vibrates through your hand. And at first it sounds like yourself, but then it almost sounds like an answer. It's like, a second chance for us both. A second chance for us both.
Oh man, he would stop and look at it for a second. Just a little bit quizzical.
Don't hear anything else, but nothing about it sounded nefarious by any means.
Yeah. I think he would wink at his grandson and cast Green Flame Blade, like do it.
Just
Yeah.
a flourish.
Swish with it with blade, the flame kind of leaps off of it or something.
Again, everybody is enthused. Your daughter looks slightly like, did he burn the wall?
Yeah.
And it's a quiet dinner. Let me tell you what a Pylomer's Promise does.
Hit me.
It is a sentient sword that will communicate with you in various ways from time to time. It is a +1 rapier. You may spend a bardic inspiration to gain the benefit of Shield of Faith spell.
Oh, tight.
Also,
That's awesome.
when in dire need, this sword also serves the same as a Horn of Valhalla.
I don't know what that does.
It's a brass Horn of Valhalla would have said when blowed, but we're just going to call it when activated. 3d4 plus 3 spiritual warriors from Valhalla come. They have the Berserker stats. If you use it, you must wait 7 days before you can use it again.
That's freaking cool.
So, depending on how you roll, spectral warriors will legitimately come out with their own stats and aid you.
That's awesome.
3d4 plus 3, did you say?
3d4 plus 3.
Good God.
We'll
That's
make all
awesome.
this up later.
Yeah. That's freaking awesome, man. So
Glad you guys chose to go to Waterdeep. You would have got none of these had you.
Yeah.
I was gonna be serious on that.
Well, I don't
Cool.
think we'll have any regret.
Yeah, no regrets.
No ragrats.
Not even one.
That's awesome. Very cool.
Klaus also. I also have an announcement to make. Amelia is pregnant.
Oh, well, congratulations.
I mean, Hildy is clapping. Marston's like, oh yeah, congratulations, Klaus brother. Ryder's excited. Again, Ryder is maybe less excited because he's now worn out.
Yeah,
He's like,
he's done.
You just spent at the playground all day.
Yeah.
he's like we'll give him a proud name. Be Genevieve if it's a girl and Broderick if it's a boy.
Oh, you honor me, my boy. Oh, when are you expecting?
She's like, well, we just found out, so I don't. It's some months.
We'll be sure to be in Neverwinter at the time. I'll be there.
Please. Dinner ends. Everybody is incredibly kind to you. You can share with them whatever you like. I mean, they definitely will. In fact, Marsden kind of gets that the family's around, so being, the in-law, he's like, and Adara, where do you hail from?
Be a
Trying
good
to
host.
trying to be
Yeah.
polite. He's like, your accent, it sounds like you're from across the sea.
Yes.
Whereabouts?
Remember, Calimport.
Ah, Calimport. Yes, we have a number of accounts, shipping accounts that go into Calimport.
Wonderful.
I've never been. I've heard it's
Wonderful. The weather there is.
I've heard it's that's what I've heard.
Yes.
How are you enjoying Waterdeep?
It's lovely. This weather, though.
He's like, this weather.
Is there any dessert that needs flambeing?
He's like, I should check on that. With that, dinner pretty much passes. Everybody congratulates you.
I think at this point Henrik is wiped on interaction with people, but he would be appreciative, of course.
You guys head up to your rooms. You fall asleep. Hildy pulls you aside.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, Father,
What is it?
you're about to have 2 grandchildren.
I know.
Ryder's had the best days of his life right now. You could stay. You'd have to do nothing. We're happy. You've always taken care of us. You can stay.
I know, but I can't. There are things out there that I'd rather protect you from than be here and hope that someone else would.
You can see the likeness of your wife now and your daughter, and she forces a smile.
He would smile at that pretty big.
She's like, I'm proud to have a good father. A good man. I hope Ryder will be the same.
Oh, you've raised him well. As I'm proud of you, darling.
She starts to cry. Not heavily, but she hugs you. And silent tears go down. She understands. She's added it up.
I wouldn't worry. We should be back soon. I don't think it's anything we can't handle.
She knows you're lying. To some.
Not a lot of old soldiers, have already bucked the trend.
She's
Couldn't just sit here and count on other people to take care of it, That's always been me.
no, Father. Thank you. I love you.
I know. I love you.
She goes to bed. I mean, you can see her heading to the bedroom, and Marsden looking sympathetically at her start to close the door. She's puts her head down a bit. You fall asleep?
I think before he fell asleep, he would pin a letter in the event of his death and would give it to Henrik the next day.
Okay.
Well, once they're, on the way.
Yeah.
I don't think he would be long for goodbyes either. I think he'd make it real quick.
All right, we'll be back soon.
Yeah. You fall asleep, Henrik, while you're asleep. You don't even think about it. You fall asleep with the holy symbol on. And it's definitely not small by any means. I mean, it's meant to be worn over armor, so it's like wearing a lock and chain. But you fall asleep. And your heart sounds like a drum beat again. And again, your dream seems to pick off exactly where it left off. You see your mother on the back of the horse of what you know is a figure that certainly armor matches that of all the likenesses and reliefs of Tempest, entering into his castle, into his keep, somewhere in the lands, maybe Valhalla, but some of the celestial heavens. Enters in. He pulls up a seat for her. Her wounds have not healed. I mean, she seems to have wrapped them up. But she sits down. And it looks like these attendants come out. They don't make any sense. They almost look spectral. And they start tending to her. And you see this fully armored figure go up to his throne, set down an axe, and sit down with a hand on his chin. Your mother is looking bravely as they're attending. She doesn't seem to be afraid, not in the least. And you hear a booming voice come from the figure. What is your name? She unmoving. Ada. Quite a fight you put up, Ada. She's like, to those that would rob me and probably worse, kill me, I did what I had to do. Indeed. Some of the servants look like she has massive scars on her hands from where she grabbed that blade. Look like they're about to start stitching. And he stands up, he's like, do not stitch them. And he steps back down the stairs and pulls up her hand that's still got a large sword wound in it. And you remember them from when you were a child. Like these scars will give you power. The power you took when you took their lives of those who would do you wrong. Don't ever cover them up. She closes her fist and nods.
Is that rated?
So as she's sitting there in front of what you know to be Tempest, would you do it again? Will you fight all your enemies? It's like, always. Like, would you swear an oath to it? Yes. It's an oath rough sworn, as it always is. So come, I will attend to you. And you see, as they head off, you see a helm in the distance. You're now still sitting as you watch them walk away. You get pulled off, but you can't see the figure. The dream moves until it's a flashback. And you're a child. And your mom is there. You had your own house. Nobody was there. It was just the two of you. She's washed laundry. She's been chopping wood. And now she's sitting down with you and she's putting water on her brow and wiping it off with a cloth. There are other people that you've met around, and you know that typically in human culture, children take their father's last name of some sort. But it's your only name you know is Henrik. Never called you anything else. You're wondering about it. Your mother's right there. And she's still wiping the dirt off.
So you're saying I don't currently have the last name Roughsworn? I just am Henrik.
Just Henrik. You're a child.
Why don't I have a last name?
She looks forward. Well, Henrik, you do have a last name. It just hasn't come up.
What is it?
She kind of looks around. Closes her eyes for a moment, for a long time. Roughsworn. Your last name is Roughsworn.
Is that your last name?
I suppose it is.
How old am I? I don't want to act like a 4-year-old from
No, I mean, you're probably only 6 or 7, so accurate. She rubs her hand across your hair, pulls the dirt out of your face, and she's like, "Going to have dinner soon. Why don't you go? Wash up. Go on."
Is that my father's last name too?
She looks out the window. She's like, "Go wash up. Do as you're told."
Not much of a last name.
And you wake up. You've thought of this memory, this dream. You wake up in a comfortable house, in a guest room, in a manor. It's the morning. You sleep soundly.
Good.
Look at you.
Did you burn the linens?
Very expensive.
Those are Callum cotton. The thread count. You wouldn't believe it. Couldn't count it if you tried.
It's the next morning. You're up early. Did you rally them?
Yeah.
I don't think I would have slept well after that. I would have been deep in thought. Unless I woke up as soon as it was over, in which case, never mind. But
I mean, you probably would have had time.
that would have weighed on my mind a lot, wondering. I think he just never asked about his father, and now he's wondering where he
You kind of realize you're like, I don't know. I never asked, and
had my
the
mom,
time
why did I
you
need a dad.
you thought of it. By the time you thought of it, your mom had already been murdered. So just kind of too late.
So it goes.
You still would have rested, but yeah, you would have had the night. It's early morning. You've awoken them.
We should get going. We don't want to cause a whole mess. Clean up after breakfast. We should just get going.
I agree.
It's your house.
That's right. It was.
I think on the way out he would leave all of his gold on the counter. I think he'd keep like 10 gold for himself for something later, but
Gotcha. I mean, how much gold was that?
423 gold pieces if he keeps 10 for himself.
Got it. You leave every bit.
I think he would leave something like, for the child or something.
You take a last look through the threshold of your ancestral home, the Rhinewald Manor. You have a few moments of seeing Ryder yesterday run through, but all of your children run bound down the stairs and get Water Davy and ice cream throughout the years. As you walk, you can see, maybe it's a memory, but you feel it, of your wife putting on a show again and standing at the same spot that she stood through the years.
He'd do the same, like, yep. Half wave back. I think in the street he'd be like,
Henrik, would you do me a favor? I wrote this, not to be melodramatic, but this is to be delivered should they get the better of me. And I hope they don't get both of us.
I'll make sure that doesn't happen, but just in case.
All right. Waterdeep is for city dwellers. Let's get moving.
Couldn't agree more.
That's right. Our manor is under the stars.
he would say loudly to convince himself.
Out there with the stars.
I mean, you make it to the stable just fine. Stable masters are professionals. They remember exactly who, or at least were given a description. They have them ready. Shimmermane, you had just seen yesterday, but is ready to go. What's your horse's name?
It's got Aaron and Rick. Horse Rick.
Horse Rick.
Vigoric.
Hold on, I got a horse name generator pulled up right
Just
now.
tack Rick on the end of it.
Alright. How about,
Or you don't.
these are terrible. Happy. Great, come on.
Nah.
Pumpkin. Star.
Treacle is one.
Treacle.
Vigoric.
Treacle.
It's Garrick. Garrick.
Treacle Rick! What about Shade Light? That's the only decent one I've seen.
Shade
Snowball.
Shade Rick.
Shade Rick, there you go.
That's the name.
Alright.
Not really. I don't really want to.
You can decide later.
Yeah.
I'm Vigoric.
I'm Treacle Rick.
How about Shade Mane?
Works.
Stealing some
Shimmermane, Shade
yeah.
Mane, yeah, the opposite.
Shade Mane, I guess. For that horse, I think they gave you at the Knights of Samalar, you can consider that a war horse.
Cool.
Don't take his shoes off.
They're not easily removed.
He gets high. He wants his horse sandals.
I do think Broderick would stop and look back at the banners and the breeze of Waterdeep.
They're blowing. The last time you left this way, it would be a long time for Anastian X. And a contingent of thousands.
I guess we could probably talk about what we're doing next before we start riding into wherever.
Which keep is closest from here? Which entrance?
The
Feathergale?
Yeah.
What do you think? To Feathergale.
I suppose it's the closest one.
Is that amenable with you, Adara?
Of course.
All right. Let's get this over with. I've got a family.
You ride off. Adara, it's strange for you. You have companions and allies for the first time, but somewhere deep inside of you, you always felt the blood of the Severin. You knew he was out there. Didn't know his mental state or anything like that. You knew. It's gone. There's nothing there.
Okay.
Just the weight of the sword.
Thanks. Just keep it coming, John.
So you guys are heading to Feathergale.
Heading to Feathergale, baby.
Alright. It takes half a day, really. So you were,
Pretty quick.
yeah. I mean, you'd
Read
read
the math. With that horse and Shimmermane, we're quick.
Yeah, and I left his shoes on.
Good idea. You are. You make it. You make it to Red Larch easily. You've beaten the butcher guards who set out, probably walking yesterday. And there's the familiar town of Red Larch. Looks like, again, even in this time, you've seen growth. I mean, looks like somebody took over the mine. Somebody took over the warehouse, completely new. You can see new signs being painted in for the same businesses.
Did we tell Margle?
No, I guess we didn't.
Margobal communicated with Nas, and obviously that was his only way of communicating.
Yeah. Should we?
If we're going to Red Larch, I guess we
Yeah,
would.
we might
We'd
as well.
stop in and...
We'll make a pit stop.
Can we get one of those tarts? Oh, by the way.
You guys,
Yeah, we would walk in.
You guys head into Lauren's Bakery. Do you accompany them to this bakery?
Come on.
I'm gonna give you enough. I'm not even gonna make you roll for it. You won't notice it every time, but this seems to be pretty overt. You look, and you can see what is Thieves' Cant on the bakery. You have no idea what it says, but I think as a blood hunter, you're like, that's Thieves' Cant.
I recognize that.
Yeah, you have no idea what it says, but
Just that it's there.
yeah. And it's clearly into the sign. It's not like graffiti or something. You guys head in, and Marco Barl is there himself, and he's like, and it's clear to people, he's like, no, because I got the good stuff here that you could get. He's like, well, if it isn't my heroes, my best friends, these are my best friends here.
Roger just kind of look at him like,
Well, we came to tell you some unsettling news that you possibly know by now.
He looks around, adds it up. Like, I see. Was it a good death?
It was, yes.
It's better than most in the lifestyle that he lived most of his life.
You're right.
Became a better man than he was when we first started together. That's for sure.
He died a hero. That's for sure.
I suppose this old spying thief is happy to hear that. Well, what will you do now?
What else can we do? We'll carry on. We'll do what no one else will. What must be done?
Would serve telling you that even in a few days, Zentra may or may not be pulling out of the keep yet. They've had a lot of incursions from strange creatures. They've held it off until now. But there are some who are thinking maybe it's not worth holding on to.
What kind of creatures? From where? Do you know?
They didn't tell me quite all that, but they told me that, well, seems they're all waterbound creatures, marine life. Sounds like cult members.
Well, I can't say I have too much sympathy for them, if I'm being honest with you.
I know.
Preferred them over the cultists.
That is true.
Practical.
I
You see.
think Henrik would be kind of surprised at himself for being practical instead of just wanting them all to die.
But they have their limits, and I understand that too for honorable men like you. When it's no longer profitable, they're gone. But for now, you have a bit of a buffer.
Well, I thank you for all the assistance you gave us.
Of course. I'm sure I'll be hearing about your exploits.
I'm sure you will.
Congratulations on your sworn-in ceremony, Stalwart. I'm sure it was lovely.
Plenty of years. Thank you.
Have you got any apple tarts?
Have I got any apple tarts? It's a bakery. He pulls out some apple tarts and gives one. He's like, oh, of course, on Nelson. He's like, oh, hello. It's like, Agent Nasi. It's been a long time since I've seen a Genasi.
Well, hello.
And what's your name?
Adora.
Adara. Beautiful. Beautiful name.
Don't let this old thief
He's like,
woo your heart.
you sound like you're from where I'm from. Are you from Kalimshan?
Oh, yes. Your accent is much better than mine. Oh, wait, God.
What are you
I
doing?
just went full dwarf.
He's like, well, that's... Perhaps the elves have a different accent than us. He's like, no.
I'll just stick with this one.
He's like, I'm the seafaring people. We got our own little dialect, so don't feel strange. He's like, it sounds strange to the rest of Callum. Well, it's a lot of scars on your body.
Yes, I had a rough upbringing.
Well, there's two thoughts about how I can do, my love. Looks grave. He's like, are you heading past the spire?
We are heading right there, as a matter of fact.
Good luck. Don't know what's over there. But whatever that cult did, they brought down that tower like nothing I ever seen.
Well, they've got a debt to pay now, and we're here to collect it.
Very good. I'll let Hurlin know that you're over there. We'll try to prep the village here. Don't know what for, but good luck to y'all. I mean that.
Broderick would extend his hand. Don't expect you'll hear from us again, but I'm sure you'll hear about us.
That I will. I'll lend whatever help I can when I can.
Much appreciated. Thank you for all the apple tarts throughout the years. I shall miss these.
Well, hopefully you'll make it back, and it's not the last goodbye.
Hopefully.
He's like, make way, everyone, for the heroes of Red Lodge. They cleared out a strange temple beneath it. He's like, they beat a necromancer. He's like, uncovered a deadly plot. He's like, and a Genasi from my homeland. She had a rough upbringing, so be kind. He makes a bit of a show for you guys to exit to.
I feel like Henrik would roll his eyes a little.
You can't tell how much
But,
he
I
was
mean,
making fun of you
yeah.
or being honest.
Yeah. I think we'd stay in the inn and then prepare to hit the spire the next morning.
Okay. Well, you guys stay in the inn and you set out. The next day, anything else you want to do?
Don't think so. Let me update my gold to be Poe. Down to 10 gold. Does she let us stay for free again?
Absolutely.
Good, because now I'm broke.
You're mooching. Can you get my tab? Stalwart.
Okay. Well, you head back down through the Sign Valley. As you pass, you're now passing down into the valley, which you had flown over for the hunt. But you look, I mean, it looks like somebody cut a candlestick from the spire. They just, half of it, the top half is gone, and it's just crumbled in. And it just looks like it sliced through.
Bastards.
I guess we'd keep going unless we saw something spooky.
The valley is, as you guys were on the hunt, you saw things down there. You saw critters, you saw some predators and things, just normal wildlife that you would see. You're cutting the difference. Are you checking anything out in the valley, or are you just headed straight for where you need to go?
I think we'd probably just head straight at this point.
You head straight on. Again, it's eerily quiet. It just seems like there's no wildlife around anymore either.
Is there a Kokra home nearby? I forgot where that was in relation.
The whole valley's not that large, so you could kind of go diagonal across it and hit that and then go over, or you could just cut a straight line if you wanted to.
Hit that first.
Yeah, I think we might think it's worthwhile to get whatever information we can from them and see what kind of shape they're in, if any.
You guys head right to where you are, and you remember kind of how you have to almost climb up a bit of a mound to kind of get through as they had flown out of this cave-like nest. And you're with them. You can see that
We would have filled her in too that these were the bird people that helped us.
and you would know Eric Okra. So you get through. There's nothing in there. It doesn't look like any skirmishes have happened in here, but
They're not there.
There's nothing. You know, there's the old bits of where fires were, and you can see where they tossed their meals out, and like some small nest around, but no, there's nothing there.
What I hope to find.
I imagine they moved on. I hope.
It seemed that way.
Let's head on.
Head on.
Okay. You guys come to Knife Point Gully that you had seen had the spyglass had pointed on, and you'd seen a robed figurehead in there with the feathers on it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I think you guys, of course, are cautious, but you don't see anybody. Again, it's quiet. Some might say too quiet. What do you guys do with your mounts? As you come to a tunnel, Knife Point Gully leads right into a tunnel.
Well, I would ritual cast Speak with Animals.
Mm-hmm.
And is there any cover nearby within a quarter mile or something?
Oh, yeah.
I would tell them to wait there. Tell Shimmermane to keep an eye on this horse.
She rubs against you. Yes, father. And trots off, and the other horse seems to just kind of obey. And you see them trot off into the underbrush of the Sign Valley.
Leave plenty of food and stuff too with them.
And there's frankly plenty around that they could
Grass
eat.
and maybe a little creek they could drink from.
Mm-hmm.
What?
A creek.
Oh, okay.
What are you guys doing? Heading in?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yes?
I think so.
I think we're ready to get bloody.
Alright. Well, let me tell you what's before you right now. An enormous chasm splits the earth as far as the eye can see in the pervasive subterranean darkness. A crude, narrow stairway hugs the rock alongside the chasm, twisting madly in hairpin turns around sharp outcroppings, jagged and uneven. The stair threatens to spill travelers into the cavern's mouth. You guys are just keeping down. It's narrow. It's slightly nauseating. After several treacherous miles of staircases descending, it terminates on a broad, flat landing that juts out over the immense black chasm. In the gloom, a lost dwarven city lays in ruins beneath the glittering cavern vault. Broken statues stand in the midst of empty plazas, staring sightlessly into the darkness. But all of that is marked by a huge step pyramid that raises up to the edge of a precipice. And from there, you can see a moat surrounding it. Welcome to the Temple of the Howling Hatred.
Sounds fine.
Just to give you guys, so the roof kind of the cavern is about 80 feet up. And this sits lower. But most of the walls are about 15 feet high. the chasm. There's a chasm beyond the city. So you guys are at the city, and there's a chasm that drops off again.
Gotcha.
Almost like you've hit another step on a stair that goes down. Water's pouring over. I think you guys kind of understand distances and can hear the water. You understand hundreds of feet beyond that the drop-off must be. That's what you see. There's a couple things that you hear. You hear the sounds of... Sometimes it sounds like screams. And you all hear the faint sound of music rising up and reverberating off of the rock walls in the tavern. It does not sound pleasant. It sounds shrill. It sounds off key. You know all of this. It sounds like musicians who have no idea how to play. And it's just echoing all around you.
Seems fine.
Can't wait.
I think despite it all, Henrik feels more confident than he should, given the recent events.
I think we're fine.
I think
We're ready.
Andrew's definitely confident. He's like, whatever.
Nah, we're fine. We got this.
As you guys head down, you come to the palace quarter entrance. The carved reliefs of two dwarves face one another in profile to complete an arch beyond a ledge. Through the arch, the blocky contours of the lost dwarven cities sprawl in the subterranean night. From somewhere, which comes an agonized wail, followed by the breathless ramble of whispering pleas. Then the entire city seems to light up with creatures in mad torment. Screams, "No! No! Ah!" Sounds of metal rending flesh. It's just a cacophony of pain and chaos. And that's where we'll end tonight.
That sounds like no problem to me.
Back to Red Larch.
Yeah. We'll just turn around and be like, you know what? Actually,
Broderick,
maybe a quiet life does sound good.
We all live there.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us. I'm launching a raid on RPG MP3. Just scrolling through the D&D players, see what I could find. We appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Sean, that was fun. That was a good...
Thank you guys. Thank you guys for the incredible role playing.
That was a deep one.
I got fucking teary-eyed. I was worried.
I was a little choked up there more than once. What else we got going on? Sunday, Curse of Strahd, 7:30. Saturday night, Tales from the Yawning Portal at 8:30 Eastern.
Tomorrow, I will be on Scraticus's channel for a one-shot wonder.
All right, raid launched. Cool.
I have
That was fun.
Tight, y'all.